University of Digital Sciences, Innovation and Technology. He is a leading figure in technology entrepreneurship and innovation-led development. We warmly welcome to you this program, sir. Dr. Saji Gopinath, Vice Chancellor of Kerala University of Digital Sciences, Innovation and Technology, provides academic leadership in advanced digital education and research. We warmly welcome you, sir. Ms. Mabel Chaco, co-founder and chief operating officer of Open Financial Technologies, brings industry insights into fintech innovation and digital platforms. We warmly welcome you, ma'am. Sri Anup Ambiga, Chief Executive Officer of the Kerala Startup Mission, plays a central role in nurturing Kerala startup and innovation ecosystem. We welcome you, sir, to this session. Sri Vimal Govind MK, co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of Gen Robotics Innovations, represents deep tech entrepreneurship emerging from Kerala. He is not here yet. He'll be joining us soon. We welcome you, sir. And we have a set of speakers who are online, who will be joining the session online. Dr. Deepak Padmanabhan, Associate Professor of Artificial Intelligence at Queen's University, Belfast, and adjunct faculty at IIT Madras, brings expertise in AI research and interdisciplinary applications. We welcome you, sir, to the session. Dr. Roshan K. Srivastav, Associate Professor at IIT Tirupati and Project Director of the Technology Innovation Hub, Head Geo Intel Lab, IIT Tirupati, Navavishkar iHub Foundation, works at the intersection of advanced computing, geospatial intelligence, and innovation systems. We warmly welcome to the program, sir. Professor Eneko Aguirre from the University of Basque Country, Director, HITS Basque Center on Language Technology, is internationally recognized for his work in language and artificial intelligence. We warmly welcome to the program, sir. Our Special Secretary, Sri Sriram Sambashwara Rao, IAS, will present the summary of the session at the end of the session. I once again extend a warm welcome to all delegates present here and look forward to a rich, thoughtful, and insightful discussion. Thank you. I hand over the mic to our Special Secretary, Sriram sir.
Yeah. So cordless, I think cordless mic is there. Okay, is there, right? I can, or probably maybe to start with, I'll start from here and thereafter I'll move to the place. So respected member of State Planning Board, Sri Namashivayam sir, who is online. Professor Vijay Chandru, Chairperson of Kerala University of Digital Sciences, Digital University, Kerala. Dr. Saji Gopinath, Vice Chancellor of Digital University. Dr. Deepak Padmanabhan, Associate Professor of AI, Queen's University. Dr. Roshan K. Srivastav, Professor Eneko Aguirre. Ms. Mabel Chaco, Sri Vimal Govind MK, Anup Ambika. Distinguished speakers, colleagues and friends. His Excellency, Palestinian Ambassador to India is in audience. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. We are now here for a wonderful conference. Kerala government has taken up a wonderful initiative, Vision 2031. As you all are aware, series of conferences are conducted a couple of months back to refine the development program of Kerala government. And now this particular series is an extension to that to finalize the Vision 2031 of Kerala government. This is really a motivating and inspiring exercise. Development process has to be truly participative. It is extremely important to take inputs from experts. It is also extremely important to involve people in the formulation of a development strategy of any government. Kerala, which is known for its truly participative, people-centric development, has definitely set a model in this particular sphere. Now we have gathered here for a conference on IT sector, which is designed with the theme Digital Revolution in the Era of Artificial Intelligence. We are meeting at a very consequential moment. Artificial intelligence, as you all know, is not just another technology cycle. This time, disruption is massive and predictions are startling. You are hearing every day. Recently, Anthropic CEO predicted or claimed that in about next 1 year time frame, software engineering will totally be automated. I'm actually surprised. I would say even shocked to hear that claim. Definitely not shocked, but the time frame which is talking about is definitely shocking. In fact, just before the start of the conference, Ms. Mabel Chaco started with the same thing. In fact, she is coming up with some feedback from the ground. She spoke about her experiences in Bangalore, the kind of sweeping changes that are happening in Bangalore. Definitely, AI is redefining productivity, capital allocation, skill structures, and even the nature of work itself. The question before us is definitely not whether change will happen. The question is whether Kerala will shape that change or merely respond to it. Kerala, as you all know, did not begin the technology journey today. We are the first in India to start integrated tech park, first in India to start common service centers with the project of Akshaya to promote digital access. For the past decade, we have established universal digital access, achieved near total digital literacy, built a strong digital governance backbone, expanded IT infrastructure beyond metropolitan clusters, a unique feature in the country, strengthened startup culture. According to me, this is just phase one. Phase two must be different. The next phase is about innovation-led employment, global investments, deep tech capability, GCC expansion, semiconductor design and advanced electronics, and responsible AI leadership. We are shifting from infrastructure and service delivery to value creation and economic transformation through technology. Therefore, this session is not just a ceremonial discussion. It is about how Kerala can achieve nonlinear growth to create high-quality jobs in tech sector and accelerate the economy. How Kerala should position itself in the AI era. How academia, startups, tech companies, and government must converge. How we ensure that technology remains inclusive, ethical, and economically powerful. Overall, it is definitely a great opportunity to refine our vision and action plan. I will start by briefly presenting a vision framework of Kerala IT department, and then we'll invite all our distinguished panelists to analyze, suggest, and strengthen our vision and mission documentation. So we want this conference to be outcome oriented, so we have designed this way. So I would like to start my presentation. I would be very quick in this. I'll try to be as fast as possible. Can I have a slider, please? Can we load the presentation? And I need a slide changer. Yeah, slide. So this presentation is about Kerala's digital and technology transformation. So from how we want to shift from citizen-first governance to global tech leadership, how do we achieve it? How should we achieve it? We prepared a program. We would like to present it before this audience. So as we all know, Kerala is extremely well known for people-centric development. Kerala is extremely well known for democratic decentralization that happened, land reforms that happened, and deep investment in education and health. Because of this, we have extremely rich human capital because we focused a lot on people empowerment. Now we need to enter a new phase. Already good foundational work has happened on this. Now we have to enter a new phase to harness this knowledge capital which is created to generate high quality employment, global competitiveness, and sustainable economic growth. Kerala wants to integrate human development with digital innovation. Now, way back in 2017, IT policy was declared. I would say it's a good IT policy. Focus was on ensuring universal digital access, open source adoption, and focus was to ensure IT infrastructure grows beyond metros, and focus was to focus a lot on startups and entrepreneurship. In the process, we have become India's first fully digital state by declaring all services, by making all services fully online, 100%. That happened in 2023. So fully e-governed state. Kerala has become a fully e-governed state. That's a great achievement. Now, I am briefly talking about achievements of Kerala IT in the last 1 decade. Strong foundations have been laid for promotion of digital economy through these achievements. First, digital governance. I already told all services are made online. About 900 services are made online. We have established models in almost all primary sectors of governance, models for the country. They are mentioned. Endabhumi, it's a model for modernization of land administration for the country. Digital survey program has been conducted, and end-to-end digital survey solution is put in place, and an integrated portal to integrate revenue, registration, and survey services through one single interface, and to ensure records remain updated along with transactions. This is a model for the country. K-Smart is a model in local self-governance. K-Smart is a world-class solution that was deployed in all local self-governments of Kerala. It's a model for the country. With eHealth Kerala, we achieved fundamental transformation in all hospitals. Some time back, few years back, we were witnessed to a lot of crowds in hospitals. Now, no more these crowds are there. Because of eHealth Kerala, we could see fundamental transformation in hospitals. OP consultation. Consultation also is happening online to create an electronic health record. We are hopeful that this is going to pave way for a lot of adoption of AI use cases in health sectors. Now, Samagra. In education sector, we have established smart classrooms from 8th, 9th, 10th to 11th and 12th in all classrooms. That is definitely a model in the country. And we have a learning management system called Samagra to ensure all courses are delivered nicely. And parents are also involved in the process. AI is recently introduced in curriculum of school children. So what I want to say is, in all primary sectors, we have established national models. So recently, Kerala declared 100% digital literacy through the program of Digi Kerala. Moving on, we could see a lot of improvement in the infrastructure and IT parks of Kerala. The space, which was 13 million square feet, increased to 22 million square feet. Number of companies was at 650, it increased to 1,160. IT exports increased from 8,500 crores to 26,250 crore, about 200% increase. And the direct employment which got created in IT sector increased from 80,000 to 1.54 lakhs. So these are the changes that happened in IT sector. But we had a lot more to do, but foundation is laid, definitely. Now, there was a talk. In fact, when I came here about 12 years back, there was a talk that Kerala has missed the bus of IT. I used to continuously hear. But now, that narrative, more or less, I think is changed. We are now in the game of attracting investments. Definitely, we have dispelled all the narratives, and our doubts are not there when it comes to promotion of IT in Kerala. So that is definitely a great achievement that happened in the last 12 years. Now, KPhone is established in Kerala. It's a Kerala's flagship digital backbone. We completed about 30,000 kilometers of optical fiber, connected 30,000 offices, and about 1,47,000 households are connected through fiber connectivity. Now, this is one of its kind of initiative in India. Probably Kerala is the only state with a very high quality optical fiber connectivity project taken up by a state government. Andhra Pradesh was a pioneer, but we are the second one to start. But we have a very good project up and running in Kerala at this point of time. The target was to actually connect all households. Target was to ensure high quality connectivity proliferates to rural households so as to enable Industrial Revolution 4.0, so as to ensure all households become smart houses. The smart house concept should not be restricted to only cities. it should be available in rural households also. K-Phone project was initiated with such kind of a vision because internet was not expanding to rural households. So that kind of a backbone is now available, which can be harnessed by all companies, especially data centers. Now, immediately available immediate infrastructure, the details are provided. Now, in all cities, we have readily available good infrastructure, which is available. Lot of work happened in startup ecosystem. Startup ecosystem has become deep-rooted. So from 300 startups, we have grown to 7,800 registered startups. Freedom Squares are in pipeline at district level. Now we have expanded our Infinity Centers in foreign countries so as to ensure our startups have connect with the companies abroad. In hardware sector, first super lab has been established with MIT partnership, and we have established India's largest hardware incubator and nurtured about 1,178 startups. Now we have established Digital University Kerala, one of its kind in the country, focusing on promotion of emerging technologies, focusing on promotion on skilling in this particular area. ICT Academy has done good work, trained about 1.46 lakh students. Knowledge Economy Mission has been declared with a goal of ensuring 20 lakh jobs in emerging sectors, a huge goal we need to achieve, and it's very important to focus on tech sector so as to achieve this. So in emerging technology sector, we have laid some good foundations. These are some of the projects which are already initiated, which are in pipeline. Digital Science Park, India's first digital technology park to ensure academia industry integration. It's coming up along with Digital University. Now, Graphene Innovation Center has been started. It's India's first graphene R&D incubation hub. It's in progress. This project is in progress. It's happening in Kerala only. Now, K-Space has evolved nicely to create India's first defense and aerospace cluster. It's also work in pipeline. 68 companies are already affiliated, and we have a commitment about 1,400 crore investment. Recently, we have declared land acquisition for the new phase of K-Space project as well. So Maker Village 2.0 is in pipeline. Central government has approved in principle, and we are expecting an approval for that. So Maker Village will expand into various other sectors related to hardware. Now, moving on, some of the core strengths of Kerala IT. This is how we are projecting. When we are talking to investors, this is what we are projecting. I'm explaining this for our esteemed speakers. Now we are promoting Kerala by saying that we have a very high human development indicators, which is undisputed. And the global diaspora connect that Kerala has is our strength, which we need to tap. So to get in more investments into Kerala, our hope is to tap the potential of global diaspora. The quality of life that exists in Kerala is unparalleled. That is something we are projecting, and we are trying to attract investments into Kerala. And the talent is extremely deep-rooted, and more importantly, it's highly affordable. And the last point is a low operational costs. We have done a profit and loss account. What we understood is, in Kerala, IT companies or tech companies can do business at about 40% more efficiency in terms of cost. So these are the strengths which we are projecting to IT companies. I need some feedback from the esteemed speakers on this as well. Now, moving forward, I am going to talk about the vision that we have set forward. I spoke about the achievements. Now, moving forward, I want to speak about vision. But before that, we have enlisted the strategic outcomes that we have declared, that we have identified for ourselves for next 5 years. And I have listed down the strategic imperatives, the kind of challenges that we are facing. I want to openly communicate, so that I need to take some feedback, some suggestions from our esteemed speakers. Now, when it comes to strategic outcomes, the target is to create 5 lakh high quality jobs in IT and tech sector. Right now, we stand at 1.54 lakh, which I already told, and we want to take it to 5 lakh figure, out of which 2 lakh will come from global capability centers sector. This is our target. We want to ensure that global capability centers number increases from 40, the present figure, to at least 120 to 200. And in the process to achieve this, we have laid a target of creating 30 million square feet of next-gen technology workspace, which is right now at 20 million square feet. In next 5 years, we want to add about 30 million. Now, we want to attain leadership in emerging technologies, AI, semiconductors, AVGC, and deep tech. Right now, focus is a lot on IT, but it's time to move to other emerging areas. We identified these areas as our scope of IT department. We want to make Kerala a semiconductor design and advanced electronics hub. For startup sector, we have identified a goal of creating a startup pipeline of about 20,000. We know we have right now 7,800 registered startups. We want to take it to 20,000, out of which we want to ensure at least there are 100 good deep tech startups and at least 10 unicorns. Mabel Chaco ma'am is there, and we are proud to say that she is a unicorn founder of Kerala. So we should have 10 more, okay, in next 5 years. That is our goal. Okay, we want to do something about it. So to achieve that, we want to ensure a seamless scale-up finance ecosystem exists in Kerala. And to achieve all this, we need to ensure industry-ready future tech talent pool is available in Kerala. And we want to achieve a total digital transformation of governance in Kerala. Definitely, we have done a lot on that and it's doable. Now, what are the strategic imperatives when we think about these goals? One, we want to somehow position Kerala as the first choice destination for tech companies. First choice destination for tech companies. It's not easy. How to do it? We need some ideas about it. And we need to ensure ready to available land and plug and play infra exists in Kerala. There should not be any bottlenecks whatsoever in terms of availability of land, because tech sector is a sunrise sector. So if any company, if any investor wants to invest in Kerala, land should be available, both private land and public land. All the bottlenecks which are existing should be removed. We should streamline the regulatory framework that exists to facilitate private investment. It should be green channel. If someone wants to invest, we should ensure there is green channel facilitation for this. It's a very important strategic imperative. We want to catalyze private investment in tech infrastructure. Now, ad hoc marketing mechanisms exist right now. We need to solve this. Global tech disruption, AI is transforming software development, productivity, and cost structures. This is a huge challenge we are discussing. What should we do about it? Should we strengthen deep tech IP creation and research commercialization? Easier said than done. We need to have a very solid program for that. We need sessions on that. I'll talk about it, what we are planning. We need to enhance industry academia integration. And the agility of our course curriculum design has to really improve. This is a very important imperative that we identified. Our universities, our colleges need to understand this. I would like to seek a response from Dr. Saji Gopinath. Of course, Digital University is extremely agile, but we need to analyze whether all our universities, all our colleges are agile in transforming the course curriculum design. What should we do about it? So optimal usage of available funds for a single plan. Now we have a grand plan in place, but it is extremely important that all the available funds which are available for tech sector should be usable for this single plan. This is extremely important, and all the challenges will have to be solved. Now, we have to set the context for the future. So we have a clear vision of achieving digital economy leadership, innovation-led jobs, and global investments. The strategic anchors are IT policy, which will be declared very soon, and a GCC policy, which is in public domain. Now, these are the two strategic anchors. And the implementation we would like to implement. We have identified very clear focus areas. And to achieve this, we identified some new missions as well to be added to our existing infrastructure landscape. Now, these are the new missions which we identified. One, Kerala AI mission. Two, emerging technology mission to focus on artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. Right now, we don't have dedicated organizations to handle this. Now, semiconductor mission, because of AI boom, there's a lot of focus. There's a lot of demand for chips. So there's extremely important that we need to focus on this. We can focus a lot on design and IP creation, which can be our strength. So we should have a dedicated semicon mission for this, number 3. And as I already told, we have ad hoc marketing mechanisms. To solve this, to attract investments, we want to establish a new organization called the Future Corporation, TFC, to ensure this. So these are the new missions which you identified. Now going forward, I would quickly go through the focus areas. Don't... He's showing time to moderator. So no, I need to do this, okay? Because I need this outcome-oriented conference, okay? No other reason. Okay, I'll go through quickly. Now, focus area 1, tech infrastructure acceleration. We identified two ways for that. One, government tech park space creation has to expand. Projects are identified, which are actually listed there. Now, in every city, we have some good projects coming up. Okay, that is number one. But that's not sufficient. To achieve 30 million square feet, we need to accelerate private IT park creation. So we identified a scheme for that, which is clearly mentioned there. Focus area 1. Okay, focus area 2 is GCC strategy. So we have identified a clear action plan for promotion of GCCs. Now the details are provided there. We want to establish a concept called GCC boilerplate, and the playbook is put in place. We identified the areas we need to focus on. So if any GCC is interested, it's our responsibility to facilitate end-to-end. Focus area 3, startups and entrepreneurship. I already mentioned our goal. So towards that, the projects which are identified is one, for the startup pipeline to be deep-rooted. We identified the initiatives which are to be taken up in schools, colleges, and at district level, which are mentioned there. And to ensure there are more deep tech startups and unicorns, the projects which are identified is one, to have world-class innovation hubs in our cities. Two, we need to have a domain-specific accelerators. It's very important to accelerate startups by collaborating with industries. Three, we need to ensure that scale-up finance is available for startups. So we need to expand our fund of funds by starting a new program called Feeder Fund. So these are the programs which we identified to achieve our goals related to startups. Focus area 4, investment promotion in tech sector. So we want to have a dedicated mechanism called Future Corporation with the twin goals. One, investment promotion in tech sector. Number 2, to ensure scale-up finance is available for startups. These are the two missions, two goals of this particular mission, TFC, focus area 4. Now, focus area 5, readiness for future technologies to build Kerala's AI ecosystem. We identified a clear way forward for that. So how to ensure necessary compute is available, how to ensure necessary data sets are available, how to ensure we also can work on creation of models. Of course, India AI mission is doing great work. Now, how can we complement the efforts? So AI mission action plan is put in place. Government departments already started work on that by identifying the use cases when they're creating solutions. Emerging technology mission is identified. We'll focus on that. Now, semicon mission work is already started. We have laid out what we need to focus on. We'll focus on talent. We'll focus on establishing integrated electronic parks. We'll focus on capacity centers. We'll try to attract as many companies as possible. Especially, we'll focus on semiconductor design. So work is already underway for this. Now, focus area 6 is digital infrastructure. Now, there's a lot of proposals for data centers already coming up. Now, the question is there any requirement to give more incentives to promote, to attract more data centers? That's one point, because already I could see good projects, good investment proposals coming up in this particular aspect. Now we'll focus on creation of GPU cluster. What should we do? We have started a small project, but what can be done to do more? I need suggestions on that. Now, for skilling for digital future, we identified the curriculum for future. Now, but the target is now through skill delivery platform Kerala, we identified we are curating courses. Now, the challenge is to ensure this curriculum, these courses are delivered to students in a nice way. What should be done? Now, how universities will collaborate. So we are starting an internship program called Ignite. Now, students will have opportunities to do internships in academia. Now, one thing, focus area 8. This is a very important initiative. We hope this will become a game changer. It's a program to promote research and innovation in the intersection of traditional sectors and emerging technologies. We want to establish trick centers to promote translational research and incubation in all universities and higher educational institutions. We hope with this initiative, we want to do it by collaborating with industry. We hope if these trick centers come up in all renowned universities and higher educational institutions, we believe our universities, educational institutions will become growth centers for technology sector. Now, focus area 9, digital government. I need not talk a lot about it. We already initiated work to establish a model digital government solution, a model digital government architecture in state of Kerala, so as to make it a model for all societies with disconnected legacy IT systems. Work is underway. We are going to launch this particular program with our unique mobile solution on 24th of this morning. This is going to be a model, hopefully. Yes, so these are our focus areas. I would like to end my presentation. We have laid some strong foundations of trust, inclusion, and innovation in the last 10 decades or so. Now we want to transform this digital strength into economic power and global recognition. We have a clear plan in place. I hope the plan is robust. We would like to use this opportunity to refine our program. So I would like to invite esteemed speakers to analyze our program, of course, focusing on their area of interest, and of course, give more sessions on how to actually improve this program. I would like to start by inviting Honorable Member of State Planning Board, Shri Namashivayam, who is joining us on online. Okay, so thank you. Okay, so you can start. Thank you very much. Namashivayam sir, you can wait a bit. I think you are not audible. Maybe you have to unmute yourself. Can you speak? No, I think there is some technical glitch. Please wait 1 minute. Can you please check? Guys at the console? Yeah, friends, you need to ensure there are no technical glitches because I think 3 other speakers are joining online. Please support in ensuring the program happens in a seamless fashion. Please be prepared.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, now it's fine. Please speak, sir.
Little echoing, but yeah, okay. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. So thank you again, Secretary Samshivara, for a comprehensive presentation on Kerala's achievement as well as the vision for the future. I want to start with, of course, the intention of this whole conference is to listen to the experts in the podium, eminent speakers and practitioners, to learn and how to refine. And not only to refine the vision, but also to help us shape the strategy to achieve that. No? I also feel that while the vision is very ambitious, and it has to be, but it is also based on our own experiences, what we have achieved so far, and what we desire to achieve in the future. No? There are a few remarks I would like to make. The first one is, of course, this conference is all about the overall theme is development and democracy. No? And in both the dimensions, the role of IT and especially AI is likely to play an important role. No? So it's not only going to improve and shape the productivity of various sectors, but also how we society engage. No? Given the fake news and other aspects, it's equally important how democracy, progressive democracy with debate and reasonable debates is also shaped through this new technology. I would like to highlight here how the Kerala's approach to technology and Kerala's approach to development shaped what we have done so far and also what we are likely to do in the future. To some extent, the vision that you presented is shaped by that also. I feel that what is broadly, the way in which Kerala looks at technology is somewhat uniquely different from many other parts in the country or elsewhere. Why I am saying so? The Kerala is focusing on the people, their freedom, their prosperity, and their well-being. So it is not just about technology and production and profits, but it is about the people's well-being. That is what put on the front. How it is getting reflected in Kerala's approach. See, for example, for us, a technology access and usage and absorption by all society, all sections of the society is as important as technology availability. For example, we don't say that putting an electric pole in the corner of a village and the village is electrified. We say that every household has to be electrified. We do not say that internet is accessible, available in Kerala, but we make sure that we not only put physical investment, as you mentioned in K4 and other things, but also provide access to the poorest of the poor. So the emphasis on access and usage and its benefits accrue to all is what shaping our vision and the prospects. This is what I would say is the broader Kerala approach. The other important thing is that Kerala doesn't believe that a technology is a silver bullet. It can resolve all issues just by technology means alone. The technology has to be embedded in society, in democratic values, and the way in which it is getting implemented. So this dual approach, that people-centric, this technology is absorbed at all levels, and it is not, technology alone is not a solution, but all other things should come together to make sure that the benefits are accrued to all people. Having said that, the same approach is also being adopted in the IT sector. And I just want to bring to attention, when you talk about AI especially, there is a much wider consensus today that AI is being considered as a general purpose technology. In other words, after the invention of the electricity, this is the next big technological innovation which could impact all aspects of economy and society. We talk about AI usage in drug discoveries, not yet fully resulted, but at the same time, robotics in the factories, as well as we talk about coding and other things, and also speech writing and various other things. So the application is wider, but its impact is likely to be wider. So it may be useful to compare the diffusion of electricity and its impact over the years. Now, as you all recall, that electricity also took more than 100 years. Even today, there are about 1 billion people without access to this electricity, this electricity benefits and the technology access. So, if you want a technology to be really beneficial, you need to make sure that the access and how it is diffused is equally important. So, to the other thing I would say also that the diffusion will take a longer period. The diffusion can happen only by co-inventions. For example, electricity has not moved to the factories. It took about almost 80 to 100 years before invention of dynamos and other things. So co-inventions, any general purpose technology is also require co-inventions to diffuse it. That leads to the question that, and also the bigger debate in the AI world, is the AI is going to be a super intelligent and going to replace all human work and thing, or is it going to be of an assistance and help in our future processes? So the lesson from electricity is it's not just about the technology. If you really recall that the way in which it is diffused is also by business models, resource allocation, and if you recall the American electricity cooperatives to take it to the various fields. So it needs an institutional structure and also a process to make sure that it is really diffused well and it is also the benefits are accrued to the people. So I feel that the vision and the approach that we adopt, instead of asking the question when we will be reaching replacing human intelligence, it may be more appropriate to ask what kind of applications in Kerala will bring in more benefits to Kerala and its development and its people. So for that, what kind of institutional framework is required? And like electricity, this is also a very, very capital intensive affair. It's a very energy intensive affair. So how we are going to navigate this path of especially a developing state and developing country like India, where resources are constrained, how we are going to allocate and how we are going to prioritize and how we are going to make sure that the benefits are Kerala specific and the people specific, and how we are going to overall use this technology. And as the Secretary observed, how we are going to make the technology adopt for us to get the immense benefit from the on this revolutionary technology that is emerging. So what I'm keen also is what kind of from the eminent panelists and others, what kind of Kerala specific application that we should be able to focus. And we also have a speaker, I think it's a recorded speech, I think, on how do we develop Malayalam LLMs, language models, and how we make sure that the geographic specific and Kerala gets benefit from them. So with these broad remarks, I hand it over to the Secretary to moderate, and I'm really keen to listen to all eminent speakers and learn from them how we could take this forward. Thank you very much. We are not able to hear again.
Hello. Yeah. Thank you, Namaskar, sir, for setting the context for the program. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Saji Gopinath, who is Vice Chancellor for Digital University, Kerala, who is also central to our talent and research pipeline. Dr. Saji Gopinath, I request, of course, you please give your remarks or speech, but it will be great if you focus on how universities should redesign curriculum for AI and other emerging technologies like semiconductors and so on. And what does agile curriculum truly mean in practice? Yeah, and how can academia become a proactive growth engine rather than a talent supplier alone? I think you being a path setter for this, it will be nice to hear this from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you put the slides, please? Honorable Secretary, moderator of the session, Sri Samsiva Rao, other eminent panelists who are joining offline and online, and distinguished delegates. As Honorable Secretary mentioned, I will focus on the talent creation for the digital revolution, because as we mentioned today as well as yesterday's seminar, one of the key area where Kerala always excel is by creating the talent and the human resources. So the results of that has been discussed very detailed by in the earlier presentation by the Secretary. But I just wanted to add one more thing, that in addition to what he mentioned, which is visible in Kerala, if you look at the national IT workforce, various reports put between around 15 to 20% of IT workforce in India comes from this state, which primarily is much higher than the type of population we have. We're just around 3% population, contributing to 15% of the talent, is a testimony of how human development can actually lead to the development of an IT industry per se. It's not necessarily that all these are happening within Kerala, but the whole of the country, the contribution has happened. And this has got trickling down effects, because many of the disposable income from this IT sector, IT professional has helped develop many other sectors in Kerala and the overall development of the state as such. The question I think we need to address is that when we have a very ambitious vision, which has been given by the Secretary, is it possible that we can continue the same pace of development, and what more to be done on that? That's primarily what I would like to speak about. Next one. Can you give me the slide changer? Can you give the slide changer? So I like to look at it in two levels, one at a macro level and other at the micro level. Macro level, I'll just speak for a minute and then go into the micro level. The fundamental challenge which we think about when we are looking at an AI, and just now Srinam Shivayam's mentioned about the next revolution after the electricity. So if you look at the fundamental shift is happening, that we are moving from an oil economy to a digital economy. And these two have got, fundamentally there are different shifts, is what many of the studies have shown. So when you look at the oil economy, it was everything about massification, everything about centralization. And we are actually speaking about very large scale industries which has got large footprints. But today it is not so. In fact, later Ms. Mabel will be speaking, the first unicorn from our state, how you can actually build unicorns with very limited amount of geographical space. So we are actually moved from a world of land, labor and capital to a world where talent innovation becomes an important thing. But more importantly, we are actually moving to a world in a data economy which is much more personalized. Now, the question we need to ask is that, is our talent development is also personalized? I think if you look at the fundamental shift which we require in our curriculum, in our way of teaching and learning, is that moving from that massification model which we have adopted over last 100 years to something like it's much more personalization, where individuals will be able to excel themselves. They can actually create enterprises, they can actually create technology solutions, etc. So that is at a macro level. But this is a shift which is required, and we know that the technology comes very fast, so the shift time for that shift is not very long. We need to actually do it in a very short period of time. The syllabus, the curriculum have to be revised in accordingly. I was fortunate that I was part of the largest technology university in the state, the APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, when we actually went for a syllabus revision. For the first time in the state, we have actually said that all students are not same. There is a heterogeneity among students. So it's important that the curriculum has to be aligned to meet the individual needs of a student. And that's a curriculum change which we have actually brought in. Of course, the implementation is in the process at this point of time. So the question we need to ask is that how do we lead this transformation to the data economy, which very lot of indications shows that which will come in 2 to 3 years time in a full-fledged such. So the key challenges of this transformation, if you look at, there was a very interesting report which was published a few months back by Niti Aayog, which actually looks at the creation of job in the AI economy. And there, at a broader level, it speaks about creation of new 170 million jobs globally and demise of another 92 million jobs. That is one side of it. But what it is important is that it also identified 3 key vulnerabilities in Indian IT AI space as such. A, there is a massive job displacement. I'm sure that later speakers will be speaking about that in detail. While IT created jobs, AI is actually disrupting jobs, especially in the IT sector, specifically first level jobs. So you are actually looking at testing jobs are being disrupted, early development jobs are getting disrupted. So there is a massive disruption jobs happening. The second thing is, we also, while we say that we are a superpower, we have leading in IT space, we cannot say the same thing. At least this report and the indication shows it is not so in AI space as such. The data which is shown there is actually from the report, which shows how we compare with other countries in 2 aspects. One in the IP as far as the AI is concerned, because the IP which was created in the AI space. The second is the applications and the talent which has happened in the AI space. Both these cases, India lags behind the other competing countries as such. So this is a challenge which we need to really look at, that our education and specifically AI education has to gear up substantially if you want to realize many of those visions which has been mentioned later as such. But at the same time, there is a paradox that the demand is actually going up. So we need a new talent development model for AI era. We need to have a rethink of the way our education systems have to work on that. The paradox is that there is a demand outpacing the supply. The data shows that while talent requirement in the next 5 years, because we are looking at a 5-year period, is actually expected to grow at today's level at 25% year on year, the talent growth is actually happening only at around 15% year on year. There is a larger gap. In addition to that, what Secretary mentioned about the skill change in the skills actually change faster than the curriculum. Curriculums get refreshed, at least in our technology university, it get refreshed once in 4 years. By that time, the things change very much faster. And you also see that there is a need for, there is no way today we have integration between the work and the learning. And I'll come back to that a little later. How do you actually address this challenge of the skill gap as such? In a way, we can say that there is a need for a sustainable skill supply chain required for that. Especially for a state which boasts of its human resources, there is a need for doing that if you want to realize that. And that actually happen in multiple technologies, because these technologies are actually happening in different levels. And also, there is a need for mid-level talent to migrate into newer technologies. When technology is actually disrupting, especially AI is actually disrupting, the people who are already in the mid-level, there is a need for them to move into the newer technologies as such. So there is a need for that bottleneck also need to be looked at. So I believe that we need to actually look at the next stage of Kerala's growth. We need to think about both these things. One, to create the first level talent who are capable to match AI, which cannot be done the way we created IT. I'll come back to that, what it is very soon. We need a different model, and we also need a model where our industry, who is currently in IT, if they wanted to transcend to AI space, there is a need for retraining the people in that space as such. So these 2 things are important if you wanted to realize this vision, is what I believe. And how do we prepare for this transformation? Prepare for the transformation, human and AI systems going to work is a reality now. We cannot actually debate on that. So from a task and a task workflow centric models are important. Unfortunately, we don't teach that, or we don't actually cover that in our institutions as such, and it cannot be covered unless people actually immerse in their work as such. The productivity gains depend on redesigning the processes and not just tools. I'm specifically pressing this was the IT education to a large extent in the past was like this. You have engineering colleges and technical institutions teaches IT, but most of the students will just go there for getting degrees, and they actually go to skill centers where they will actually learn tools. And those tools they learned is actually the results why we still don't have a great AI talent here. It's not only for Kerala, it's across India as such. IT was learned more as tools to apply rather than looking at a lifelong learning or the knowledge per se. When you are going to IP-based, deep tech-based things when you come up, you cannot do that. You really require a model where the skills or knowledge, which is currently happening. Knowledge happen in colleges, skills happening in training centers, and students generally opt for skills because that is the one which get them the job on day one. You really require a model where you need skills and knowledge integrated in colleges and curriculum itself. That transition is what required in the next 5 years in our education space, as well as in the IT space per se, if you really wanted to ensure that this vision is going to be realistic as such. To some extent, Digital University is actually trying to do some of those aspects. If time permits, I'll speak about that. So in a way, we need to look at the jobs are moving up, jobs starts to workflows. People are going to hybrid skill profiles. And there is also a human skill premium which happens. A pure skill model will not speak about the last element, which is about critical thinking, which is about creativity, etc., which actually gives them a lifelong learning. But at the same time, you also require skills to be taught along with the knowledge per se in colleges per se. So the real change in the curriculum requirement is that. And that is basically what I believe the essence of the talent development when we are actually want to translate the vision, where we move from knowledge, which is what textbooks teaches us, or skills, which what the training academies teaches us. And these two, unfortunately, don't go hand in hand. They are completely two different islands at this point of time. We need to go into a model where knowledge and skills comes together. And that knowledge and skills together can work only if you really apply them in a common way as such. And perhaps one of the education stream in which we can learn is medicine, where you will see that a doctor comes out of a medical college is actually day one ready. But he also has deeper knowledge in his subject. How is it possible? Because he or she actually works on a hospital while he also studies on that. It's time that if you really wanted to create an AI talent to realize all these visions which we spoke about, because talent is going to be crucial, it's time that we need to actually build industries within the institutions. And only when we build industries, it's not like you are an internship. Internship is outside what you are doing. You learn somewhere and then go and try to practice it. So teacher and the industry doesn't talk to each other. It is important that these two have to be integrated. And that is what we call as the work integrated learning. And that type of a model is what we need to try. Some of the trials Digital University is doing, but I think we need to do it for all of them. But having said that, when you think about a larger canvas of AI, we need to look at all levels. NCVT speak about 3 levels. It speaks about AI for all. Then we speak about data foundations and advanced functional analytics. Then you think about human skills. You look at practice-based learning. You speak about stackable credentials. Rather than looking at everything as one monolithic program, we need to think about credentialing and combining the credentialing through the education per se. And then, of course, governance and responsibility as such. So in a way, I would say that we need to think about 3-track programs for Kerala. A is AI for everyone. As I speak today, you may be knowing, some of you read the newspapers knowing that we are actually Kerala is starting a very innovative program. 600,000 parents have been taught by students. I don't think anywhere in India or anywhere in the world such a program has happened. The Little Kites is actually starting a program where AI literacy to parents are being given by the students who have been trained in the process. Already 80,000 teachers have been trained at the school level so that there is a AI for all or AI for everyone program is there. The second element, which is where we are missing, is you need to have an AI plus domain which happens through a work integrated learning where a student coming into an education institution actually work on AI projects. Faculty work on AI projects. In the process, they will learn how to create IP, how to create innovative products, how to create development assets. And then, of course, you need to actually go into the next layer where people are going to become the AI specialist who is going to create a higher level learning in the AI per se. And that's also very similar to what NCVT put as the 3-layer model which they spoke about. But this become a challenge to some extent, but we can say that AI itself will solve to a large extent many of the problems of AI assets. It's time that in academic institutions, we need to think about lower level tasks has to be outsourced to AI, and teachers should transcend to higher level tasks. Because smaller level tasks can actually be given to AI as great tutors, simulators, etc. And we need to go into the next level of development per se. Of course, the guardrails on academic integrity, the privacy data issues, etc. has to be kept in toto as such. So let me close by looking at a roadmap for 2031. If you really wanted to make sure that we continue perhaps the leadership in human resources in the AI world also, like what we have done in the IT world, we need to actually start looking at every year we need to actually start looking at this shift. The first year, I think it is time that we need to relook at our curriculum to create knowledge and skills framework. Incidentally, the KTU curriculum, KTU is actually one of the largest university, as I said earlier, of technology. KTU curriculum actually provides that. It actually provides a model in which a student will be able to work in an industry while they are learning itself from the 3rd semester onwards. And in a way, it actually can integrate, but it has to be implemented at college levels as such. So that is the first thing we need to actually have a very focused work on doing that. The second year is we need to think about the 3 tracks of assessment proper assessment methodologies, as well as the AI learning tools have to be gone. Here, it is important that earlier, Sri Namashivam sir has mentioned that AI is a general purpose technology today. So it is not that IT professionals only will learn AI. Every subject person has to learn AI. For example, in digital university, we actually take people with multiple domains and then take them to the AI field. So if you may be life sciences in your undergrad, so you can actually do a bio AI course in your post-graduation. Like that transformation, and I'm sure that our chairman of Digital University will be speaking about how this convergence of biological sciences and digital sciences are actually happening in his speech as such, because he has actually demonstrated successfully on that. And third year, we need to think about a stackable credentials models, which has to be implemented so that we can have a larger number of people with that type of skills which is there. And then we need to institutionalize, because setting up an industry within a campus is difficult. Even if it is setting up, integrating that into the curriculum is much more difficult. So we need to do that. That should be the model going forward. And that model we can to have it by year 4. If you do that by year 5, we will be able to again create a large set of AI talent, which can actually be the leading both within the state and outside the state as such. So that, I think, is what my conclusion is, that in an AI accelerated world, the talent creation is not an one-time event. It's a continuous activity, and it cannot be done in a way which we were doing earlier, because we need reformative changes in education process and assessment. Because taking the cue from earlier speaker, electric bulbs have not done by making our candles better and better. It has started with a completely new thinking. So if you really wanted a talent for the AI world, we cannot think what we were doing in the past. We need to completely think differently. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Saji. So Dr. Saji is a man of strategy. So he has given a clear strategic roadmap for AI skill creation in Kerala. So as I understand, he emphasized on the need to skill and reskill at scale and fast. And he proposed a new model for AI skill development. He emphasized on transformation from knowledge bar skills to knowledge plus skills. And he proposed work integrated learning. And I believe this needs to be discussed thoroughly. As he rightly mentioned, it needs to be implemented at scale. I believe the model he suggested needs to be implemented at scale and really fast. It's not suffice to implement this in just 1 or 2 universities, maybe probably 1 or 2 colleges, digital university, and so on. It's important to implement it at scale. So conversation has to happen. As a temporary measure, I believe that we can actually even make our LEAP centers as an engine to promote this particular program. And he suggested 3 tracks. One important thing is to create AI specialists. But when you told all this, Dr. Saji, one thing actually came to my mind. The model really is good, but then what came to my mind is probable challenges to implement this particular model. What came to my mind is the availability of quality resources to create AI specialists in Kerala. So what is your opinion about this? Is it a challenge? Should we focus more on, will TOT be a solution for this? First 2 tracks, very clear, not a problem. But for the 3rd track, to create AI specialists in Kerala, do we have enough quality faculty available to take this forward? And what is the solution? If so, what is the solution for that? Because you have given a 5-year roadmap. It's a very important, it's a short-term plan. That's my question. Because I want to make it more engaging. So, in fact, Anup suggested that there should be 1 or 2 questions here and there. So I myself starting with a question. Yeah, Dr. Saji, would like to respond?
I think I like you because you always find the right loophole. But actually, that's true. In fact, our biggest challenge is going to be that we actually, that's not only for here, across the country, this is actually the challenge. How do you create the AI specialist is a question, because we still don't have the right number of resources to train and create that ecosystem of IP-based development, etc. But I'm still optimistic, because five years is still possible for us to do that. And now the AI mission is also speaking about high-end training, etc.
Yeah.
So, and there are people in industry who are available. We need to actually look at, industry takes more IP than academia today. So we need to actually look at, from the industry, the experts with IP into the thing as such. I think that's something which we need to seriously look at, and maybe I'm sure that Professor Chandru will have a better answer, because he's a person who has moved from academia to industry to academia and industry. So he'll be the right person to tell how we can actually create that.
Thanks, Dr. Sajay. I hope technology offers a solution for this. Let's hope we'll take this conversation forward, and I request your support in this. And one question from audience. One question, if any. Yes, again, yeah, please give the mic. We'll have some questions at the end also to make it more engaging.
Just one minor comment to what the talent development thing is, right? So if you give peanuts, you get squirrels, right? If you want lions, you need to have proper meat given, right? Otherwise, you'll not get like that kind of talent.
Yeah.
So what should be a way forward is something that you need to think through.
Please suggest. It's a discussion. I agree. Yeah. We need to actually introduce changes in our compensation systems in universities and colleges as well. Okay, right. So now moving forward, we have Professor Vijay Chandru amidst us, who brings deep experience in building research institutions and translating knowledge into economic value. So today, Professor Vijay Chandru is going to talk about intersection of biology and technology. Sir, after finishing your talk, I also request you to give some feedback on our program as well, especially on how to strengthen research to industry pathways. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me here. I must admit that my association with Kerala has been as chairperson of the Digital University, and it's really been only over the last few years that I've actually come to interact and spend some time in the state. But it has been, really exciting to be part of an experiment like the Digital University of Kerala, because I think in a short period, we've already seen how this approach towards being ready for the economy and development and strategically positioning a university has already borne some results. So I was trained as an electrical engineer and computer scientist, and around the mid 90s, I guess, many of us were beginning to realize that there was an important interface developing between computing and biology and life sciences. And of course, that was the period when the first human genome project was being executed. And so this realization that at some level, our biology is also digital. Instead of zeros and ones, it is ACGT. And, and you can actually approach these as related disciplines. Became very exciting. And so let me just take you through a little bit of the journey that I went through in those years, because I think it's also indicative of how you think ahead of technological trends and be prepared when those changes happen, right? So just, around the late 90s, around 2000, I think we all began to realize that there was something special happening in digital, right? Technology. This is sometimes called the second half of the chessboard, right? Because if you put one grain on the first square, double it on the second square, and then double it again, it turns out that when you get to 32 squares, you have 4 billion grains, right? And there you see the curve suddenly get extremely sharp. And that's why we call it the singularity, right? That singularity means that everything that you think will happen 5 years from now will happen this year, right? And, that's why when ChatGPT 5.3 came out and Cloud and others similarly brought out code generation, everyone thought it wouldn't happen for years, right? But today it suddenly happened and it's suddenly affecting us all. So it's very important to understand how these exponential trends in technology work, right? And, and I think back in those days at the Indian Institute of Science, we used to think hard about how certain types of science and technologies could have large impact. And of course, information and how it could impact in development and sustainable development was something we looked at very closely. And we suddenly realized that the idea of a big, clunky computer, right, was not going to democratize. What you needed to democratize was something that was mobile, that was handheld, that could be thought of as a transistor almost, because our transistor radios were going everywhere, right? People were getting information. They were sharing information. So if you really wanted to make information technology democratized, you would need to think about mobile, right? And so back in 2000, 2001, we built India's first mobile handheld. It was called the Simputer, right? And the Simputer then essentially introduced this idea that you could actually have a Linux machine. This ran the full Linux kernel on a strong arm chip. And we built the entire motherboard, a 7-layer motherboard, at the university. And we were able to actually manufacture these handheld devices. Ultimately, about 50,000 devices got built. This was before the smartphone came. The smartphone came 5 years later, right? But once the smartphone came, the real revolution started, right? So, but I think to anticipate that these things can happen and to be ready is the job of universities, right? And I think this is where, we need to think ahead and not be surprised when some change in technology happens and suddenly our plans have to be realigned, right? So that was from information technology, but just to understand the reason why this interface of information technology and biological sciences is important, we need to look at a historical timeline. And in the historical timeline, there is a remarkable correlation between advances in information technology, and that you see on the top, operating systems, programming languages, internet, and data science. And on the bottom, you see how molecular biology and biological sciences were advancing. And there is a remarkable correlation. So what we did was at the Indian Institute of Science, after we did the Simputer, the next thing we did was we decided to build a company that was focused on applying AI in biology, right? And because biology was exploding in generating huge amounts of data, the tools needed for analyzing that data and making sense of that data for biology was actually AI. But it was the old AI, what we called in those days good old-fashioned AI, right? It was machine learning, it was various types of pattern recognition algorithms, clustering algorithms. And we put all these together to help biologists sort out their own ideas and be able to get something out of the experiments that they were doing, right? So Strand Life Sciences, which we built, became the builder of the tools for biologists to be able to do their work in biology. That company has gone on to become India's first precision medicine company with genomics. And today Reliance is acquired the company and it is being taken forward in to build the genomics era. And the point I want to make here about genomics is that just like we saw Moore's law, an exponential law in technology, genomics is another exponential law. In fact, it is faster than Moore's law. It goes by about the square of Moore's law. And what was $1 million to sequence 1 gigabase of DNA today can be done at $1. Okay, and this is in 25 years. So there is something else happening here, and we need to be aware that when there is this type of an exponential law, we need to be prepared and be able to do things with it. I will skip over these. These are actually to show how this can have an impact in health. But there are children born with certain disorders. Some of them don't survive, but you can look at their DNA, and from their DNA, you can actually then understand what caused the disease, and eventually be able to advise the physicians or the parents on whether they should have another child. If they do, then can we test if the child is going to have similar disorders, these genetic disorders. So there are, again, a lot of AI tools that come in here. In fact, we had to build LLMs before they were called LLMs. We had to read all of the published literature using natural language processing and create knowledge graphs that were used in all this work. So I will skip that and just say that, again, from a democratic point of view, I think the right to health actually suggests that we have to leverage this exponential technology that has become available and be able to do something about all these genetic disorders that we have in our population. You can actually, there is a master plan that I have written up, but we can discuss this in detail at some point, right? I also want to point out that there's another amazing revolution happening. And this revolution has to do with the fact that now we can actually not only read the DNA, but we can actually change it. And this is the technology of CRISPR, right? And this is what got those two ladies, Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpentier, the Nobel Prize in 2020. For the first time, I think women scientists won the award. The reason this is very important is this now allows us to rewrite biology, redefine health in many ways, and also have huge impact on the planet itself. And when I get excited about biotechnology, the reason I do is because if you want to think of a technology that actually affects health, food security, the environment, and energy, which are all such critical pieces of development, aspects of development, there's one technology that addresses all four, and that is biotechnology. So, so I will not get into a lot of details, but just point out that today we are able to do point of care testing of various kinds, which will, using this CRISPR technology, which can extend to food safety, animal health, and to, of course, human health. And eventually we can edit these microbes to be able to clean chemical effluents, to actually be able to make biofuels out of agricultural waste in much more efficient ways because of this interface with CRISPR. In many ways, we are facing the most dangerous moment. There's climate change, environmental degradation, food security, health security, all these are issues. And we need to bring all our technologies together to address these issues. I just want to wind up with a note that today, by combining AI with climate science and being able to look at weather monitoring stations, data, our satellite data, many public data sources, one is able to build a heat stress forecasting for early warning and as the AI gets more and more powerful, you could do these predictions at almost a gram panchayat level. We are now at a taluk level, and we can bring it down even further, right? And there you could be actually giving 5 to 7 day reliable forecasts so that health authorities, disaster management authorities can benefit from that. We actually have a running system for Karnataka now. We would be very happy to also bring it to Kerala. So I just want to end on this slide, I think, which is to point out that I think we are at the cusp of moving from the digital age into the age of living machines. Okay, and that's, and I think to anticipate this and to actually plan for this and to strategize this will be my recommendation that for 2031, Vision 2031, let's also put this element in that how do we actually anticipate this powerful merging that will happen between digital technologies and the life sciences and actually create biosecurity for ourselves, but in that process also create an excellent bioeconomy. And, and of course, with democratic and development goals suitably entrenched in the plan, right? I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. There is a dominant opinion that AI has to be for social good. If so be the case, the use cases in sectors like health sector and disaster management, sir, please, sir,
Yeah.
are extremely important. And thanks a lot for sensitizing on applications of AI in cutting edge research in these sectors, health sector and predictive disaster management. And sir spoke about, he has actually given a suggestion that we need to incorporate readiness for age of living machines as to be incorporated in our vision document. We will look forward for a conversation with you. Please guide us on that. We'll definitely include that. It will be a great requirement according to me. Sir, you also spoke about, you have just mentioned that there is a master plan for rare diseases which you prepared. So it will be great if you work on that. We have a life sciences park in Kerala. Please see if it can be done in Kerala, right? Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your talk. We'll move forward. അത് മുൻപേ എനിക്ക് ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു കാര്യം പറയാനുള്ളൂ. ആ പുറകിലെ ഇരിക്കുന്നവർ ദാറ്റ്സ് ഓക്കെ. പക്ഷെ എന്താണ് പറഞ്ഞാല് അവിടെ സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഇവിടേക്ക് കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. ചിറ്റ് നല്ല ഡിസ്റ്റർബൻസ് ആയിട്ടാണ് നമുക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത്. എസ്പെഷ്യലി സ്പീക്കേഴ്സ് നമ്മൾ വേണ്ടിയാണ് ഇവിടേക്ക് വന്നത്. എസ്റ്റീംഡ് സ്പീക്കേഴ്സ് ആണ്. സോ നമ്മളത് കുറച്ച് ശ്രദ്ധിക്കണം. പുറകിലെ ഇരിക്കുന്നവർ ചിറ്റ് ചെയ്യരുതെന്നാണ് എൻ്റെ ഒരു അഭ്യർത്ഥന. ഓക്കെ, സോ ലെറ്റ്സ് മൂവ് ഫോർവേഡ്. സോ വി ഹാവ് അവർ നെക്സ്റ്റ് esteemed speaker, Professor Roshan K. Srivastava. He is a associate professor, project director, technology innovation hub, and head Geo Interlab IIT Tirupati. So Dr. Roshan works closely with our IC force as well. I would like to thank him for that, for giving opportunities for IC force. And Dr. Roshan is now going to talk about ingenious tech for Kerala, especially on how data handling can be done in sectors like agri-tech and GIS. Very important talk. Over to you, Dr. Roshan. Thank you very much for joining us online.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I hope I'm audible to you.
Yes, very much. Thank you. Please proceed.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think I'm very fortunate to listen to my previous speakers. Some of them I already know. Very important juncture where we are talking about Kerala Vision 2031. Actually, we are from governance excellence to intelligence growth leadership. I think this is very important. We have been talking, I've been listening to 2047 Viksit Bharat, but I think as usual, the Kerala is always leading in some of these initiatives. So respected dignitaries, policy makers, industry leaders, academicians, innovators, and friends, Kerala does not need to prove that governance matters. It has already done that. I think I've seen, in fact, to matter of fact, I should tell, although I don't come from Kerala, but my spouse is from Kerala, Trivandrum. So that way I'm very much connected to Kerala. And for decades, I have been following. Kerala has demonstrated something very powerful. That development can be human-centered, inclusive, and equitable. And for example, high literacy, strong public health systems, local governance, and citizen participants. I enjoy whenever I stay around Trivandrum and Alapi, and I see the way the things function, especially the health sector. So Kerala did not wait for prosperity to become inclusive. It built inclusion first, and then prosperity already followed. So that is leadership I have always seen, and I think it continues to do this. Today, for Vision 2031 presents a different challenge. Not inclusion. It's all about acceleration. It's not access, but intelligence. It's not delivery, but precision. So these are some of the important factors. I think many of the dignitaries, and I can see the parallel sessions what are going on in the Vision 2031. It's more about now I can divide it into acceleration, intelligence, and precision. How do we kind of get it? Question is always there, like by 2031, is it possible or not? Yes, we can accelerate and get to some level. So the next decade will not test whether we can provide services, but it will test whether we can deliver them intelligently, efficiently, and predictively. Now, the world is entering in an era where the states compete not only on policy but also on capabilities. So I would expect by 2031 all the competitive states will have real-time decision systems. I think some of the tools I already know, the governance tools from geospatial perspective, predictive disaster response. State has been suffering a lot. In fact, due to this climate change, number of disasters what we have seen last 7 to 8 years. Precision agriculture advisory, state need not be thought, but this is very important factor, being especially rubber industry and other industries coming forward. Integrated logistic visibility and transparent welfare tracking, data-driven urban planning. So these are some of the factors which the state will be looking at. The question is not whether Kerala can achieve this, but the question is how fast it can be institutionalized, this capability. I think Sir was also talking earlier about how academia and the industries can play. Some of these things which we are doing, I would just like to present. Kerala has something that many states, I feel, do not. One is high digital literacy, strong local governance networks, then citizen trust and administration maturity, which I think I always admire. What remains to do is embed this intelligence into infrastructure. Now, how do we kind of bring this intelligence into infrastructure? Now, let me put it this simply. The future of governance is not about collecting more data, but it's about connecting the systems. In fact, my last sentence would have been like, how much of the departments are interconnected with the technology itself today as we are talking with the IT? And can we work on the departments itself getting interconnected? Can we set an example for the public that how the departments, various sectors, line ministries, line departments get connected, how it can create some kind of a good governance? My thought process has always been like whatever work we do, mostly it should either support digital governance or otherwise public good. So these are the two important aspects. Whether I take academia, whether I take startups, whether I take industry, at the end of the day, it has to go into digital governance as well, help the digital governance as well as for the public good. So, like for example, some of the systems, I think whether weather data talks about the drainage systems, whether crop, I'm a water resource management professor also. So I'm just giving an examples which are close to my heart. When crop data talks to market data, we have been talking always how much problems we have with the farmers and their deliveries. So how do crop data talks to the market data? To large extent, this has been there. Kerala has been leading into this, but still I'm just putting these points. When coastal sensors talk to fishery advisories, when welfare database connects with the geographic reach. So governance become more proactive over here. So this integration is what separates from digital administration from an intelligent administration. So these are two important aspects. Digitally, we are there, but can we make it more intelligent? And we are talking about AI and IT to be integrated with it. And this integration requires definitely structured capacity building, capability building across the state. Now, what kind of a models I think we can work on, or how do we see this across the country? We have observed like the transformation follows some kind of a sequence with strong problem statements from government. In fact, when we are talking, I'm sitting at the DST. We are talking about Ministry of Panchayati Raj. How do we kind of do this national level data sets to be used by the students, startups, with respect to hackathons and all. Technical validation environments are very important for us. Startup and industry participation, always they are seen as a competition between each other, but how do we bridge them? I'll talk some of the models, what we are working at the IIT Tirupati Technology Innovation Hub. What is the deployment pipelines we have? What are the skill programs aligned to mission? As Sir was just talking rightly, how do we, can we bring the industries to the campus? Although the startups are doing that in some solutions for Panchayati Raj, where the data sets and everything is provided, and we are looking for AI solutions. And same we can kind of do it for the state Kerala and Kerala state itself. Now we have the universities where they can themselves can lead. So we have seen this that startups are connected to the real sector problems instead of generic innovation challenges, and their survival rates improves. We also do something called Vikas program, where many of the startups, where the projects comes to us, these projects are given to the startups, so the startups get the revenues and they can become as a growth model for their survivals. We've also seen that the skills are aligned to sector machines. I'm very sure uh, Kerala will be thinking as a state, uh, tomorrow's jobs only depend on skill sets, but not on the degrees per se. Degrees are important, but the skill sets are very important, as likely um, VC sir has put up. And his model, I like it because it actually integrates nicely industry, students, and faculty together, which we are doing in kind of spin labs, but a slightly different model. Now, Kerala's Vision 2031 should touch some of the sectors like coastal economy, marine systems, climate resilience, urban mobility, tourism. I think tourism is one of the biggest attraction for Kerala. Agriculture transformation, public welfare, and efficiency. So we need to invest our time in the sector wise, where the sectors can benefit Kerala as a state by 2031, and divide the entire uh, ecosystem into these sectors, so that there's a very clear plan. Now, each of the sectors, what I say is it's divided into again three main components, which we do at the Technology Innovation Hub. You need to focus on reliable sensing and data acquisitions. That means these are capturing technologies with which the state should be, have a capacity to do that. Analytical and predictive processing, which is a data processing technologies, and a very clear visual interfaces for administrators, where decision making becomes very easy for them. When these layers are institutionalized, governance becomes measurable and scalable, which to a large extent I can see. Like, for example, coastal state like Kerala can move from issuing weather alerts to running predictive marine intelligence systems. Urban centrics like Kochi can move from static master plans to dynamic infrastructure simulation. Agriculture advisories can shift from seasonal guidelines to a very micro location based precision advisories. There are a lot of startups who are associated with us in Kerala. In fact, they do a wonderful job. But uh, I think somewhere the government of Kerala should also start supporting through various problem statements. Now, I would also like to bring how translational hubs, like what we are doing at TIH as a national mission, can accelerate vision into 2031. This is where the institutional models like us can contribute, not as owners for sure, but as accelerators. A lot of things are doing, we can come and do our experience into three mechanisms. One, to set up a translational support, bridging laboratory invention to the field deployment. Second, startup validation and pipelines. I was there last time in Trivandrum in this your startup this one, the system, I mean, the facility, amazing. Can we ensure the startups get test solutions in real environments before scaling up? Then distributed capability nodes, that is also important, because creating sector specific intelligent nodes are very important. Today, we are working very closely with the AI mission. Yesterday, Andhra, we have this AI village coming up, and I'm part of that, involved into kind of looking at the AI. Of course, we are looking into quantum navigation and other technologies, but there are other groups who are working. One of the areas is how to scale it up and create the statewide digital twins, which cannot be done at a small scale computers or the computational facilities. These are all like AI and quantum based. So quantum is also another area I think states should be looking at, where the country is moving very fast towards this. National Quantum Mission is already there. I think it's a great opportunity also to state to get into this when you're talking about the digital governance and all. And I think, in fact, I differently feel like Kerala does not need to import models, but it can adapt and lead the models existing, and we can also strengthen that. Now, Kerala startup ecosystem is very strong, as I said. The next leap is a deep tech infrastructure innovation. Do we have quantum computing facilities? Do we have such kind of facilities which will help our Kerala startup ecosystem to look into some challenging problems? Like some of the examples were there where unicorns were there, but can we have more unicorns? Can we have a cutting edge technology supported by Kerala? That is very important. So instead of only building platforms, I think we should look at startups more on a precision, intelligent environment modeling, decision support engines, integrated simulations, and very structured models like what we do at Vikas. The same can be followed by, and Kerala, that Vision 2031 can be, as a pipeline to scale scale whatever data, whatever models you have already. Now, can we look at just the multiplier? How do we do this? No vision succeeds without aligned skills. So by 2031, Kerala must ensure that its graduates are not just software developers, but must system thinkers. This is very, very important. I think at the university levels, we are always focused on the jobs, but can we look at, as sir rightly pointed out, the skill sets become very important. We need system thinkers, how the data is captured, how intelligent is processed, how decisions are visualized, how public systems can be integrated. Again, a lot of projects what we support in the national level is only looking at whether it can support digital governance or it is to the public good. All the academia, if they start focusing, and the other important aspect is to encourage academia to do translational research, where much of the research is not going into publications, but actually converting them into useful products and IPs. The state should start also looking at generating a lot of IPs in these sectors, wherein IPs are patents. So that will help state to become as very self-reliant. At the end, I think let's also be very realistic and ambitious at the same time. Kerala can aim to achieve integrated decision support systems because the departments are very well developed. I think first they should see how we can integrate the departments itself. So that will create a good example. Predictive disaster response frameworks, a lot of work is going on in Kerala. Is it integrated? Is it created? It can set a good example across the country. Fisheries is a big problem. So coastal and fisheries intelligence systems, whether NAVIC and other integrated systems are there. Dynamic urban infrastructure simulations. I know from ICPOS and other IST, there are a lot of, I'm just ending this. I'm sorry to just extend. So I just my few things beyond, I think 2031, I think I would like to see the state for a definitely intelligent in terms of autonomous systems, advanced navigation technologies, intelligent infrastructure, and sovereign data architects. Today, we are all talking about the algorithms, but we are not investing in the infrastructure. So I would definitely request here when we talk about AI and IT infrastructure, a lot of infrastructure, common infrastructures have to be established. So at the end, I would like to close by saying that capability ecosystems deliver. If Kerala combines governance maturity, what it has, digital literacy, its startup energy, and structured translational acceleration. So Vision 2031 will not be aspirational, but it will be executable, and it just doesn't stay as a aspiration to the public of Kerala. It will be executable for sure, and the models developed here can guide other states, and I think it will become an example for the country where we are also looking 2047. So 2031 is very ambitious, and I hope we'll be very happy to kind of also support the state in a way how Technology Innovation Hub can help you to accelerate in this vision. Thank you. Thank you so much for all your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Roshan. Your talk has been really wonderful, highly thought-provoking and enlightening, I would say. I'm sure there are many department and nodal officers over here who represents various departments in government. I'm sure they also share the same opinion. Thank you very much. You have touched upon the need for data aggregation, availability, and integration with digital and physical systems. We have initiated data policy, and we have started working on putting forward a data exchange platform for government. I'm sure we will take this forward. And also, you spoke about need to conduct hackathon in various sectors. Now, Startup Mission CEO is there here. We initiated this program, Sector Innovation Challenges, focusing on various sectors. You have highlighted various sectors which are relevant for Kerala, coastal economy, marine and agri transformation and so on. We'll focus a lot on this and we'll take this forward. You have spoken a lot about digital transformation, total digital transformation. You have put across a lot of ideas towards that. We have identified that as our next goal. Having moved forward a lot on transformation of digital governance in Kerala, we would like to totally transform. You have given a lot of thoughts. We would like to continue the conversation. You have done a lot of groundwork. We would like to make use of your knowledge. We would like to involve you in our future conversation. Thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
I request one question from audience for Professor Vijay, Chandru, and also Dr. Roshan. One or two at this point of time. Yeah, please.
So, good morning, sir. My question is to Professor Chandru. Thing is that, as you mentioned, only when the poorest of the poor is addressed, our technology is said to be the completed one. So my question is that we are having so many tribal populations here,
Right.
and one of the major challenges we are facing is about the sickle cell anemia.
Yes.
So you are mentioning about this AI and the digital technology. Is there any NGS system studies going on in this tribal population, or is there anything we can do in future to find these problems solved, sir? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Actually, just want to mention that from IISc, we have at least 2 new technologies that have been developed for screening and for confirmation of sickle cell disease, not just full-blown disease, but also carrier status. So, heterozygous and homozygous cases. So one is using optical spectroscopy, and that has been already approved by CDSCO and is being used in various field programs. Professor Sai Gota is the person who is leading it. I'll happy to give you the connects offline. The second is actually our CRISPR group has developed a point of care or point of sight test, which within 2 hours actually gives you a confirmation because it actually detects the nucleic pattern. And we are actually now in the process of CDSCO approval. So the National Sickle Cell Mission, of course, has been pushing many programs. And the first clinical trials of actual cure of sickle cell using CRISPR is starting in Delhi at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. The technology is coming from IGIB, which is a CSIR lab, which has actually developed a novel CRISPR technology. So the IP issues and so on have been resolved. And the idea is to bring it at, in the US, Casgevy from Vertex costs $3 million as a cure. 2.1. There are two different companies between $2 and $3 million. This will come at 1/100th the price. So I think that's the target that we're working on, because otherwise it's not viable, right? In the Indian context. So I think that on the curative side, as well as on the diagnostic and screening side, on the screening side, particularly being able to advise parents who are both carriers, because then the child has a risk of getting full-blown disease. So those sorts of programs have already started. Some states have been very active. I think Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, I think we have seen Odisha has an active program, but happy to discuss offline.
Thank you, sir. So any question for Dr. Roshan? Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Roshan, for joining us. Moving forward, we have Dr. Deepak Padmanabhan, Associate Professor of AI, Queen's University, Belfast, UK. He is also adjunct faculty member, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Dr. Deepak is going to talk about sustainable and democratic information technologies. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Over to you, please.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can
Yeah.
see the screen. So you can put it on slide mode, sir.
Put it on slideshow mode,
Yeah,
yes.
slideshow.
Okay, I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person, so I'm very glad to be able to participate in this discussion. So my presentation is titled Sustainable and Democratic Information Technologies. So this intends to put forward certain thoughts for consideration across a variety of sectors in which IT could be used. While these definitely resonate with the Vision 2031 document in its current state, some of these may differ in some details. So over the next several slides, I have several separate items, starting from some specific topics, moving on to more general ones. The broader thinking that drives these thoughts is at least threefold. First, the usage of AI should not be obsessively focused on turning people inward, but instead enable their full flourishing as socio-political beings, like a reminiscent of a COVID era slogan around Samuhika Urima. So secondly, it should not privilege ways of pitting people against one another through competition, whether it be consumers or workers, but instead should substantially facilitate cooperation. Thirdly, these technologies should facilitate satisfying social needs of various kinds in ways that are appropriate, efficient, and sustainable. So I'll go into some of these topics now. So Kerala, as we know, is a fast aging society. In many parts of the state, senior citizens often find themselves concerned about their health. Some choose to move to one of the private care homes that are mushrooming in the state to avail of medical care on call. Yet others are forced to live under constant remote surveillance of their children who may be living in faraway lands. Neither is ideal. Can we leverage the extensive connectivity through K-Phone to develop an IT layer with a focus on senior citizens' health? Those who enroll into this should be able to avail of IT-based services such as prioritized appointments at local family health centers, health monitoring through optional risk-based monitors, distress buttons for usage in emergency, and so on. It may also aid in scheduling regional senior citizen meetups to enable localized socializing to aid mental health needs and things like that. This might be funded by a small subscription to offset maintenance activities. And broadly speaking, we have, I was reading about the history about internet and its privatization over the course of several decades. And there is an interesting book which traces that history, which talks about privatization as moving from the infrastructure layer to the devices, to the apps, and to the platforms. Now we have this K-phone, which actually tries to reverse the trend right from the ground level. Can we kind of bring more and more things to the commons? Can we move commons up the stack from infrastructure to devices, to apps, to platforms, and so on? So that is a broader thinking around some of these things. So coming to the second topic, with the advent of several quick e-commerce platforms and big chain retail over the past decade, it has become increasingly hard for local and cooperative production forces to thrive and flourish in the state. This crisis is set to deepen with several free trade agreements which are set to open up Indian markets to foreign capital. Whether it be Kudumbasri units or cooperatives or local small-scale production units, they all find themselves being undermined, especially with the arrival of 10 million e-commerce websites, which can be regarded as specifically targeting the culling of small-scale enterprises and the local economy. Can we build a statewide network to specifically facilitate this sector where sustainable businesses may be onboarded after appropriate vetting to an e-commerce platform specifically for them? There was something called MatSap in the private sector a few years back, but I think it has fizzled out, and it would be better to have this as a government supported scheme in any case. So coming to another point, our mobile phones are equipped with an emergency alert system that can be activated regionally. With the 2018 floods and beyond, we have built enhanced capacity to foresee extreme weather events such as floods, high tides, and landslides at reasonable levels of precision. There are research centers that focus on this. It may be good to consider developing an extreme weather alert system that operates through the emergency alert mechanism. This mode of operation has been tried in multiple countries in the past year or two. This could augment the current SMS-based notification system that we get or complement it. If such an infrastructure is developed, it may be used for also human-animal conflict events in the eastern parts of the state to inform citizens quickly, reassure, and quell rumors. So on to another topic. When life moved indoors during COVID-19, a lot of people's lives got reconfigured to offer a large space for evening TV programs such as political discussions or serials, as well as WhatsApp groups and YouTube channels of various kinds. This increasingly subjugates people's lives to commercial interests, with ad-funded media seeking to sensationalize rather than inform, having a larger space in their lives, and to communal interests, with WhatsApp groups becoming spaces rife with what we call as Keshavan Maman type narratives. These pose serious issues to the health of Kerala's communal harmony and social life. While it may be a hard thing to aspire to try to correct it through some IT infrastructure, we might want to think of whether we could develop an app-based facilitation of real local social life. This could be an app that lists local arts, cultural, and sports events vetted by people such as librarians of local libraries under the Library Council, for example. These events could help people meet each other. So using an online medium to actually facilitate real world interactions and build real life connections and so on. So while local cultural organizations have their own WhatsApp groups, for sure, a more generic platform could help with dissemination of general events in the local area that people could go and attend. This may need to evolve with time. There cannot be one single perfect model to start with, but it could be worthwhile to try and get started in some way. So on to another topic. Over the past several years, we have seen that much low-skilled labor has become what is called as Uberized. It basically means that most people do not work under secure labor contracts and are exposed both to arrangements that require too much work with offering too little pay, and piece wages where workers are paid per unit of work, not for units of time. The new labor codes are set to deepen worker woes. Marx, in his work title Capital, said that, quote, piece wages are the most fruitful source of reductions of wages and capitalistic cheating, unquote. So while wage labor itself is exploitative, piece wages bring uncertainty that create mental health issues for workers. There is evidence that the AI algorithms in these gig platforms use behavioral analytics to pay as little as possible and differently for different workers. Can we rethink the gig economy through pioneering some radical worker-friendly initiatives at the state level? There is a lot of data within these platforms, but the AI doesn't use such data to predict work distribution and provide more labor certainty for workers. The state has attempted some alternative platforms, for example, Kerala Savari and so on, but they have had limited successes, perhaps because they were seen as operatively similar. There is no reason why different kinds of gig work, transportation, courier, food delivery, could not be brought under the same platform. Can we develop a full stack for an alternative gig platform, which may be radically imaginative in using time-based wage arrangements through new forms of AI that enhance a certainty to the worker? This could be done perhaps by allowing workers to book work hours in advance in exchange for more certainty in work. Some form of randomized work allocation could also reduce the load on the worker to do the work to find work, which is essentially a form of unpaid work in these platforms. The current 2031 vision document proposes a center for freelance and gig work within DUK, and this might be a topic of interest within that kind of a remit. So while coming to another topic, while this may be a point that already underpins several of the innovation initiatives already discussed, can we consider social innovation as a brand of innovation that we seek to pioneer? This could be significantly different from today's conception of innovation as business driven and profit-driven, and one that vies for venture capital funding and other things. Instead, this could seek to develop an interdisciplinary brand of innovation where people from different disciplines come together to solve a problem, and where the solutions therein interleave human expertise and technology in ways that are appropriate for an effective solution, not necessarily obsessed with cost efficiency or business profitability. We may consider roping in final year students from across the thousands of colleges in the state who could work together in their final year projects on addressing issues of social concern. This could involve working with local communities, which could give them a unique sense of being part of contributing to society as well. This could be facilitated by a social innovation project bank along the lines of some proposals that that we've seen in previous years that could be developed at the state level. I'm aware that there are similar programs, for example, the Young Innovator program under KDISC and so on similar lines, but this is essentially along those lines, definitely. So we obviously have a lot of enthusiasm for using AI in government in order to improve government services. AI, however, is unlike any other technology in that it is opaque in its operation. If an AI makes a mistake, there is no AI mechanic who may be able to explain the reason in concrete terms or understand and rectify the mistake. The internal process in AI is not just opaque, but also has been heavily tuned towards utilitarian modes of operation since AI has grown under the wings of neoliberal capitalism. This extreme focus on cost efficiency and utilitarianism is at odds, significantly at odds, with the responsibility of a popular government that is focused on deep forms of accountability, justice, and fairness. For example, the AI might be good at making a decision on a typical welfare application, but it may falter or err if the case is more complex. So it essentially pushes people, creates more friction for people in the fringes, which may be people who are most disadvantaged as well. We might wish to think of a center of excellence of AI in government, which may not just focus on bias audits and guardrails, which are important in their own ways, but also undertake work in building a new breed of AI that is intrinsically principled, where we might be able to pioneer AI for governments around the world or governments that are in a similar situation to us, for example, in the global south. So the Vision 2031 document has a very interesting suggestion for an AI Bill of Rights. I do think this would be an extremely important and pioneering move from Kerala. As we talk about the AI Bill of Rights, can we also make sure that we stay clear of the pitfalls of the European Union's GDPR or other kind of recent Digital Services Act and so on? The only real change with GDPR has been the user's liability to click on accept cookies around 20 times a day, whereas big tech has not been rendered more accountable in any sense of the word. Because it's essentially a legislation that is focused on the market economy. The right to explainability in GDPR is particularly interesting. It created a new cottage industry called post hoc explainability, which some people in AI would know better, would definitely know, whereby technologies are built specifically for explanation generation, as I show on the top right part of the screen there. These explanations often do not have anything to do with the actual decision. So they remain a mask for legal compliance rather than a faithful explanation for the decision. These also produce new undesirable obligations for small, trustworthy organizations such as cooperatives, making the playing field more advantageous for large corporations. Our Bill of Rights could instead be focused on real accountability and rights, ensuring more barriers for unaccountable AI and less barriers for good AI built by accountable actors. The AI Bill of Rights should ideally spawn an interest in developing AI that serves the real interests of society faithfully, rather than normalizing AI as a tool for profiteering. So my almost the last slide, the internet is fast becoming rife with a lot of bad actors, which make it an unsafe place for young people, including kids. There is fast regulatory movement in this area globally, with a recent regulation from Australia focusing on outlawing some forms of internet usage by under 16s. This might be a space worth considering for us too. So I'll stop here. That's all that I have. And I'll stop here by sharing my excitement with the broader goal that we're working towards in the Vision 2031 document, which is around Kerala global talent, ethical tech, and sustainable growth. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Deepak, for such an amazing presentation. When entire conversation is about AI and emerging technologies, you reminded how much more can be done using IT and elite technologies. You have put across some really exciting opportunities in senior digital health network, local and cooperative commerce, so on. So many exciting opportunities. I'm sure all our resources, all our department and nodal officers here got excited hearing all that. I would like to say that there are some pilot initiatives in all this, but according to me, the breadth and quality of solutions and scale of implementations are extremely important. We need to focus on this. You have enlightened us. Of course, there is a debate on whether the solution development should be left to private players or should government develop these platforms. Your suggestions are in alignment with Kerala development model and policy. I also would like to remind you that Kerala declared digital life for all as a policy goal way back in 2017. And we need to make this a reality. We have re-emphasized that this is going to be our goal, and all your suggestions are going to be real focus areas for us. We are going to incorporate these suggestions in our vision document. Thanks a lot for that. And I also request you, I think you are from Kerala. We will continue the conversation forward, sir. Thank you very much for that. We would expect your support in taking all these initiatives forward. Thanks a lot. Wonderful. Any question for Dr. Deepak? One question. Zobin, you should be excited. No? Yeah. Please pass on the mic to. Please.
One of the things that I would like to get your attention to is about the orchestration layer that we must actually think of here. So already we have solutions in different areas, but there are those are like islands of thoughts and not interrelated. So even if we already have a lot of IT enabled services regarding to the governance of Kerala IT governance sector, so there isn't even a single sign-on that is available. And if you take a new home and you have to register for the transfer of electricity for water authority, for all of it you have to create separate login credentials, and this is a practical problem, of course. Maybe not related. This is just on a peripheral level that I am saying, but the real problem here lies on how to orchestrate these things together and pull the data together. So a data governance layer should be there, and how this layer is being governed, that is another. Is it open licensed? How I think my friend Jason is here. He could be able to share detail on this governance model and all. Can I hand it over to him?
Be bit fast, Jason.
മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയാമല്ലോ അല്ലേ?
കുഴപ്പമില്ല, കുറച്ച് വേഗം പറയാൻ പറ്റും.
സാർ, നമുക്ക് ഇപ്പോഴും കേരളത്തിന് ഒരു ഓപ്പൺ ഡാറ്റ പോളിസി ഇല്ല. ഓപ്പൺ സോഴ്സ് കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിക്ക് അവരുടെ പ്രൊജക്റ്റുകൾക്ക് എപ്പോഴും ഫണ്ടിങ് കൊടുക്കുന്ന പരിപാടിയില്ല. അതുപോലെ ഡാറ്റ ഓപ്പൺ ലൈസൻസിൽ പബ്ലിഷ് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. പബ്ലിഷ് ചെയ്ത ഡാറ്റയ്ക്ക് ലൈസൻസ് എന്താണെന്ന് മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുമില്ല. പിന്നെ അതുപോലെ ഡാറ്റ പോർട്ടൽ ഉണ്ട്, പക്ഷെ അതിന് അപ്ഡേറ്റ്സ് ഇല്ല. കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിക്ക് ആക്സസിബിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഫെസിലിറ്റീസ് നിലവിൽ ഒന്നും സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ മേഖലയിലില്ല. പിന്നെ കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റി ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ലോക്കലൈസേഷൻ, ഇന്റർനാഷണലൈസേഷൻ, ബഗ് ഫിക്സസ് ഒക്കെ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ പിന്നെ ഇത്തരം കാര്യങ്ങൾക്ക് സർക്കാർ ഏതെങ്കിലും തരത്തിലുള്ള ഫണ്ടിങ്ങോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു സപ്പോർട്ടോ ഒന്നും ഇല്ലാതെയാണ് ഇതൊക്കെ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. എൻ്റെ ഒരു അനുഭവം പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ 2008 ഞാനൊരു വെബ് GIS ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ഒരു പഞ്ചായത്തിൻ്റെ. ആ സമയത്ത് ഒരു ഡാറ്റ ഇല്ലാത്തതുകൊണ്ട് പിന്നെ അത് സ്വന്തമായിട്ടുണ്ടാക്കുകയാണ് എല്ലാം ചെയ്തത്. പക്ഷേ പിന്നീട് ഡാറ്റ ഉണ്ടായി. പിന്നെ 2014 പക്ഷേ ഈ ഡാറ്റയ്ക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഒരു ഗവൺമെന്റിന്റെ പ്രോസസ്സിന് വേണ്ടി തന്നെ ഡാറ്റയ്ക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് കെസ്റക്കിനെ, കേരള സ്റ്റേറ്റ് റിമോട്ട് സെൻസിങ് ആൻഡ് എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് സെന്ററിനെ സമീപിച്ച സമയത്ത് ആ സമയത്ത് ഡാറ്റ വലിയ എക്സോർബിറ്റന്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള എമൗണ്ട് ആണ് ചോദിക്കുന്നത്. അതും ഗ്യാപ്പ് ഫണ്ട് ഉപയോഗിച്ചിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു പഞ്ചായത്തിനോട്. അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ അപ്പോൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്തു വെച്ചാൽ സ്വന്തമായിട്ട് തന്നെ ഒരു ഇതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഡാറ്റ ഉണ്ടാക്കി. അപ്പോൾ പിന്നീട് ആ മോഡൽ സർക്കാർ പിന്നെ ഈ പിന്നെ മാപ്പത്തോൺ കേരളം എന്ന പേരിൽ ആ മോഡൽ അഡോപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് പിന്നീട് പ്രൊജക്റ്റ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുകയും ഒക്കെ ചെയ്തു. പിന്നീടും പിന്നെ ഒരു കീബോർഡ് മലയാളത്തിലെ എല്ലാ യൂണിക്കോഡ് ക്യാരക്ടറുകളും ഉൾക്കൊള്ളുന്ന ഒരു യൂണിക്കോഡ് പിന്നെ എക്സ്റ്റൻഡഡ് കീബോർഡ് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ നോക്കിയ സമയത്ത് അതിനും ഫണ്ടിങ് പലരോടും ചോദിച്ചു, പക്ഷെ കിട്ടിയില്ല. പിന്നീട് അത് ഉണ്ടാക്കി പ്രൈവറ്റ് ഫണ്ടോട് കൂടിയിട്ട് ഉണ്ടാക്കിയ സമയത്ത് ഇപ്പം പിന്നെ ഈ കൈറ്റ് ഗ്നൂ ലൈസൻസിൽ ഇപ്പോൾ ഡിഫോൾട്ട് കീബോർഡായിട്ട് കുട്ടികൾ പഠിക്കുന്നത് ഇപ്പോൾ ആ കീബോർഡാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഇത് വെച്ചാൽ ആദ്യം തന്നെ പറയുന്ന സമയത്ത് നമ്മളോട് പിന്നെ പുറംതിരിച്ച് നിൽക്കുകയും പിന്നീട് ഇത് നമ്മൾ വിജയിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് അത് അഡോപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുകയും ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു രീതിയാണ് ഈ ലാംഗ്വേജ് കമ്പ്യൂട്ടിങ് അതുപോലെ ഓപ്പൺ സോഴ്സ് കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റി നടത്തുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളോട് ഗവൺമെന്റ് കാണിക്കുന്നത്. അതുപോലെ നമുക്ക് ഇപ്പോഴും ആവശ്യത്തിന് ഫോണ്ടുകളില്ല, മലയാളത്തിന് ഓർണമെന്റൽ ഫോണ്ടുകളില്ല. DTP സെന്ററുകൾ, DTP ഓപ്പറേഷൻസുകളൊക്കെ നടക്കുന്നത് ഇപ്പോഴും ഈ യൂണിക്കോഡ് യുഗത്തിലും ആസ്കി ക്യാരക്ടർ സെറ്റുകൾ ഉപയോഗിച്ചിട്ടാണ്. അതിന് ഇതുവരെ പ്രോപ്പറായിട്ട് അഡ്രസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. ഈ ശരിക്കും ഇതിലൊക്കെ ഇടപെടലുകൾ വന്നെങ്കിൽ മാത്രമേ ഡിജിറ്റൽ റെവല്യൂഷൻ ഇൻ ദ എറ ഓഫ് വരുള്ളൂ. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യേണ്ട കുറെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ട്.
Both the questions are for me. Okay, so Jason is someone who works a lot, who tries to innovate. He's a government employee, but he tries to develop solutions, from any position where he is. He's a panchayat secretary, but he tries to put up a GS web platform. Yeah, he is sharing his experiences. I totally concur with you, Jason. But I suggest you should you should come to ICFOS on deputation. Okay, and you should try to something about it. Take a technical role. That is one thing. And whatever you told, right? So about single sign-on, digital solution, integrated digital solutions and all. I totally agree that we need to have an open data policy. It's prepared, it's put up in public domain, it's going to be live very soon. In my opening remarks, I spoke about the data exchange platform also. It's standard, partner is onboarded. In next 2 to 3 months, it's going to be in place. About integrated digital solutions, please wait for 24th. On 24th, we are going to inaugurate. In fact, in my opening remarks, I spoke about it. We are coming with Nammada Kerala mobile platform. That is going to be the first initiative coming as part of the Digital Kerala initiative. On 24th, all this is going to be addressed. And coming to Jason's points, your inputs are noted. ICFOS director is here. ICFOS is definitely going to work on this, right? Yeah, thank you very much. Moving forward, we have thanks Dr. Deepak for joining us. It's really wonderful presentation. Moving forward, we have Professor Eniko, professor from University of Basque County and director of Hyatt Basque Center on Language Technology. So Professor is going to speak about LLMs for underserved languages, a practical view. Over to you, Professor. Thanks very much for joining us. Yeah, Professor, you can speak.
It's a recorded message, so you can play.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Eneko Aguirre, and I am really grateful to the government of Kerala for this invitation to give a short address.
Volume,
on
please.
Experience in the development of regional large language models and the measures the smaller regions can adopt to develop their own language models. Where I'll share our experience from Basque. Let me share screen. So I want to talk about large language models for underserved languages, and I'll give a practical view. I am the director of the Hyatt Basque Center for Language Technology. So as you all know, there are more than the large languages in the world, which includes more than 7,000. And in this Babel Tower of many languages, there is a dump of the internet called Common Crawl, which indexes 160 of them. English is more or less about half of the internet, with Spanish following suit with 10 times less data. Finnish 10 times less data, and Basque is in rank 50 with approximately 1,000 times less data than for English. I checked for the language in Kerala, for Malayalam, and it's more or less on the ballpark of Basque. But of course, there's other languages with far less data. One thing which happens with these languages is that not only they have much less data than English, they also suffer from the lack of annotated data in the form of native instructions or preferences, which are required for language models to learn to behave like a chatbot, like ChatGPT does. It needs not only text, but also these native instructions or preferences. One could hope for large companies to build the language models of for our languages, but the truth is that, as we can see in this graph, even if the quality of these language models for languages other than English is increasing, like the yellow and red curves show, still the gap between English and these languages is still there. So for instance, the top one, which is English, the blue one, and then we have an average for between 2 and 20 languages, we can see that they are 12 times worse. And for the other languages in the 20 to 100 band, they are even 17% worse. This gap is significant, and there is no end in sight. So this could mean that the languages other than English will always suffer from a lower quality when using these language models. This might be a problem for languages like ours, Basque, because it's a second language in our country. In our country, we speak Spanish, which is the official language, and a minority speaks Basque. So it means that the language ones probably will behave better in Spanish, in the large languages, than in Basque. So I took the liberty to check the quality for Malayalam compared to English. Here we have that for English, the best system is Gemini 3 Pro, according to this study, which I give the data below. And for Malayalam, the performance of the same language model, the one which is best for English, Gemini 3 Pro, it's 17 points lower. So there is a big gap between the performance of Gemini for these two languages. So then the question is, how can we obtain higher quality for these low resource languages? One solution could be to build one single model for all languages. So that would decrease the gap for all those languages, but this is elusive because the curse of multilinguality. Chances are that because of the fixed amount of parameters, that this is not possible. So every time we improve one language, it would be another language which doesn't improve so much. And it also requires an enormous amount of resources, which are only at the hand of giants like Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, or maybe big companies like Alibaba or DeepSeek. There's an alternative, which is more resource efficient, which is to take and adapt an existing large language model, an open one, like, for instance, Llama, Qwen3, or DeepSeek, and target one specific language. Then the focus is on building a better system for that target language, maintain the multilinguality and the capabilities of the backbone large language model that we are going to adapt to our language, and to have a method which is applicable to any language. So this method would not only work for one target language, but for other languages. So as I said, I'll share our experience with Basque. We are a smaller country in Spain and France. Basque is a language isolate, no known relatives to other languages in the world, and it's more or less spoken by 1 million speakers. This is our national animal, the sheep. And as I said, we are going to build a scientific method to target on one single language. The hypothesis that we wanted to test is whether is it possible to adapt an existing open large language model with high performance to this target language. In the experiment that we performed and the method that we developed was based on Llama 3.1 that we chose as a backbone. We could use raw text in the amount of 100 billion words, which is roughly 4 billion tokens because of the tokenization for Basque. And as I said, we only have raw text. We didn't make any use of native preference or aligned data. And because this was a research paper, as this is a research endeavor, we had to devise a method to avoid the catastrophic forgetting. The answer is yes, and this is how we create our language model called Lacha, which is a tribute to Llama and the ship, our regional ship. This is the paper where everything is all the details are mentioned, including data, scripts, and everything necessary to reproduce the experiments, and also to apply this method to other languages like maybe Malayalam. I'm not going to explain the method, but I just wanted to mention that evaluation is difficult. So we did a language model arena where more than 1,000 volunteers were shown 2 answers to their request, and they had to choose between one or the other in a blind manner. So we gave them our best system, which is Lacha of 70 billion parameters, and they could compare it without knowing with Claude 3.5 and GPT-4o, which were the best ones at the time. And as you can see, we were able to draw Anthropic's 3.5, and we were very close to the proficiency of GPT-4o, which was the best at the time. This is an amazing result with led us to think that we could actually do something practical with Lacha. So this was not a scientific endeavor anymore, but something that we could share with our community and maybe have practical use in the industry and in the society. We also did a test with professionals, a blind test, where we gave them as the kind of test that you use with foreign students. So we made our language models to produce 10 essays, and they were judged by these professional evaluators. In GPT-4o, only 6 of the 10 essays were marked as valid, as being proficient for Basque. And in our case, all 10 of the 10 were able to pass the examination. And one of them was actually top 10, they received the top 10 score among 80,000 essays from humans. So in this endeavor, we learned several lessons. One is that our method is able to build a high-quality chatbot, as I said, using an open existing multilingual instructed LLM and using just raw corpus and no native instructions, nothing else. And that it ended up being the best in language proficiency for Basque. As I said, this method can be applied to other languages and other backbones. Llama, the model we used, Llama 3.1, is now more than 1.5 years old, and there are better models like DeepSeek, Qwen, Kimi K2, and we are actually applying our method to these new models, so they have the capabilities, the newer capabilities, like agents, reasoning, thinking mode that these models have. The ongoing work is that, as I mentioned, we shared our results with the Basque government, and we are going to set up in a few days a server which is going to be able to serve the Basque community with this open model. And we think this is key to improve the model for the local community, because we are going to have feedback and uses from our local community, and we'll be able to improve our model to their needs, not as a global model which has to serve many users in the world, but focusing on the needs of our local community. And also we are going to set up the same server so the local innovative industry can use our open model to develop and promote new products using these local open models. And of course, we are, as I mentioned, we are setting up our model with new backbones, so it's able to do retrieval, mixed with speech, be able to treat images, OCR, reasoning agents, etc. There are further benefits that our endeavor has given to our community. The first one is that we are joining a worldwide ecosystem of open models, which is by NVIDIA. this is not an isolated effort. There's a worldwide effort of building a industry around open models. So we are joining this industry with a leading model for Basque. And in the way, we also have built a very strong scientific team, which not only produces language models, but also produces research in top-notch conferences. And also this talent that we are helping to produce in our country should be able to build the next generation of local innovative products, which is very important to be able to compete in this world. So thank you for your attention, Mijas Care, and I'm really sorry I couldn't attend. It would be great if I was there to share these ideas with you, but feel free to contact me in the future.
Thank you, Professor Eneko. So the presentation has some real good information for all the researchers who are interested in working in LLMs based on local languages. Thank you very much for that. Moving forward, now we have an inspiring personality in Ms. Mabel Chaco. As I already told, is a founder of a Unicorn company. She's a co-founder and the COO of Open Financial Technologies. So Madam is going to speak on a very important topic. She is going to speak on reality check on AI with employer-employee perspective. Over to you, Mabel.
Everyone has been sitting for too long, no? Let me do something. No, I'm not going to make you do yoga, don't worry. Those of you who have a pen or a notebook, raise your hands. Okay, if you have a pen, raise one hand. If you have a notebook, raise two hands. Higher, 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 higher. Up. Stretch a little bit. Okay. Those of you who have eggs or tomatoes in your bags, raise your hands. Thank you. I was just trying to find out how many are going to throw eggs and tomatoes at me. So I'm going to be speaking about AI and how it is impacting the IT industry in what is happening right now. What I see with startups, what I see happening in Bangalore, and it's not a very, it's not going to be a very, I don't know how to put it, easy thing to listen to. It's going to be very uncomfortable truths coming out. But I thought I should hold it as a reality check so that when policy is written, it is written with the knowledge of what is happening and what needs to be really planned for. I completely agree. Kerala has come a very long way in becoming the front runner for information technology. It's no longer whether it should be Bangalore, whether it should be Kerala kind of discussions. A lot of work has happened. Concrete work has happened, and even at a government level, I'm yet to see a state government back up so much with policy. I'm really proud, and I've said this before, that Kerala is a state where you talk about it as a Kerala startup mission. You're not talking about it as a Trivandrum startup mission or a Palakkad startup mission. Unlike what happens in Karnataka, where there's a Mysuru startup, there's a Bengaluru startup, kind of fragmentation. So here, this is a state which has always thought state first, not district first or level first. And for that matter, I thought I should be the person who holds up a reality check onto what is happening. Sambashivan sir mentioned about number of jobs increasing, number of square feet of tech park space increasing. Unfortunately, for IT per se, the number of jobs will be decreasing. Anup Ambika sir, in my conversation with him today morning, said, do you think 50% jobs will decrease? I would be honest to say, I would say it would decrease by almost 80%. It's harsh, but it's a reality, and all of us really need to acknowledge that. It's not about AI eating up jobs. It is a reality that already exists. You can't be saying that it's something that Even I can't say that, it's something that will come in 1 year from now, 10 years from now. I know at least 10 or 15 startup founders who are just waiting for this appraisal cycle to get through to announce layoffs or, job cuts. Not because they don't care for the people, but because honestly, many of us have been running the company using AI for coding for at least a year now, and we have seen a lot of success in that models. So how does this change? Work changes. And AI co-pilots are right now ensuring it generates codes, it debugs systems faster, creates perfect documentation, automates testing, creates summarized logs and incident mapping. What used to take at least 8 or 10 engineers before is now being done by one engineer. And that is it's not theoretical, it's an operational reality that I'm speaking about. So AI is not eliminating the need for engineers altogether. What changes is what we need from engineers. It is the shift is happening from, say, syntax-based knowledge to system-level thinking. I'm no longer hiring for coders. I'm hiring for people who can think, who can do strategy planning, who can, look at the architecture and make the judgment whether it is right or wrong. Look at code and say if there are hallucinations in the code, that needs to be rectified. If there are biases in the code, that need to be rectified. Though that is a way, hiring has changed in the IT industry, specifically with startups right now. If productivity per engineer is doubling, hiring pattern will automatically change. Entry-level repetitive jobs, jobs around support and testing are becoming redundant. And this is something that Vision 2031 should take into account, because that is going to be a shift in the kind of employment and the requirements that are coming. Now, the plan usually summarizes around, training IT graduates, but the focus needs to shift from training IT graduates to training AI augmented professionals, people who can look at code and detect where critical thinking is used, and people can say that there is a bias that has come in. We need to refresh the code and see if the architecture is, create a very prime, good architecture, and then look at the code whether it meets those standards or not. I would specifically suggest a couple of interventions to come in. One is to mandate the AI literacy at a engineering school or a college level. Every student graduating in IT should know about how to code along with using AI co-pilots. They should be able to validate AI outputs. They should be able to detect hallucinations. They should be able to secure AI coding practices, and should know the basics of model behavior, biases, etc. It should not be an elective subject that comes in the scope of engineering. It has to be something that is a foundational course. Because if we keep training engineers the way we are doing right now, we're just going to be preparing people for yesterday's jobs. Secondly, there's going to be a huge displacement of workers who are already working. There's an urgent need to reskill many of them. So invest in a employment transition plan of sorts, a 6 or 9 month training program for the existing workforce to get trained on AI models, on how to use many of these tools, AI governance, cybersecurity, AI operations, how to evaluate each of these models, a lot of these things. Now, definitely Saji sir is, given a lot more detailed around the training and how training and learning has to change. But at the same time, someone from the audience also said that, if you're going to throw peanuts, you're going to attract only squirrels, and then who is going to do this? Teaching at? So here's something that we did at Open, and we, probably this is something that the government could also pick up. We partnered with AWS, Amazon Web Services, and then we got them to train all of our engineers on AI, on using some of the co-pilots. Did a couple of internal hackathons to see how well the learning went down. And then for the past year or so, we've been using AI Copilot for coding. So we've been using tools like Cursor and Claude Code. And there are many companies like Spotify, that have come out and told that since December, they have not written a single line of human code. Holds true for us to a very large extent as well. So that is how the AI is transforming how work is happening in reality, and this upskilling is something that I would like the policymakers to plan for, because if 80% of your workforce is going to become redundant, they need to go back and do something either back in the industry, or like Sridhar Vembo, who is the founder of Zoho, said, go back to agriculture, grow food, or Totapanike Eranga, basically. And then move from volume-based employment to capability-based employment. It's no longer about how many jobs you created. It is about how much value you created per employee. Probably incentivize companies to try to reskill rather than lay off, and create a and rethink the strategy that the government has placed for at a GCC level. So the policy document speaks about world-class IT parks and everything, but GCC essentially came to India for cost-effective, large talent pools and scale. AI is going to reduce that, and there's no longer going to be a need for large benches. So differentiate that from creating a large and affordable talent pool. From that tagline, the strategy should change into creating a workforce that is high quality, AI augmented, governance ready workforce. That narrative needs to come out rather than just focusing on, it can become, the state itself can become as a center for trust rather than, just building on the competitive advantage. That's about it. Those are my few points that I wanted to share. Any questions?
Thank you, madam. Madam, I have one question for you. So we all have same opinion that software development is becoming really highly efficient and less costly. So even I thought about loss of employment. So I thought about it recently when I was free. So just one thought struck my mind. I want your response on that. I thought, whether proliferation adoption of technology will increase so that job loss reduces, especially because of the fact that most of our homes, all our homes, offices, enterprises are yet to become totally digital. We have a lot to travel. So most of these are not digital at all. There is so much of digitalization is still remaining. If so be the case, since software development, solution development has become so efficient and less costly per se, maybe, will proliferation, adoption of tech will increase, and whether job loss will reduce? Just thought struck me. Whether it is going to be possible, or you are expecting that kind of a job loss?
See, job loss in the present format of how the industry works, IT industry works, yes, it will definitely impact. Upwards of 70 to 80% is what I would park it at, because the redundancy is already there. It's something that we have seen in the past 1 year. The industry, the AI itself as a model itself has changed very, very fast. What I expected to change in 2 or 3 years from now has already changed in the past year. And I was on a maternity break last year, briefly. So in the 3 months that I spent out of the industry, the entire, whatever I had already learned about AI had already become redundant, and a lot more, came out. So when this topic came to me in December, it came to me at a time when I was already rethinking of, if I rejoin work, I should not be redundant. I should be updated, and I started reading up. And that's around the same time that I was reached out for this panel discussion. So that I picked up this topic for speaking today, because what I went back and checked, did a reality check, and found out, talking to other founders, that this is something that we are already seeing, that job loss is going to happen. It's something that, it's a reality. In 2026, you're going to see major companies doing layoffs. It's not about startups. It is not about, only smaller companies. Earlier, why would a founder do a layoff? It would be for optimizing on cost or something else. Here, it is because redundancy has set into the company. You have 80, 100 engineers who are sitting, literally doing nothing. All the work is happening through AI, and they're just validating. So many people really don't have active roles to play. And for that same reason, so much of square feet of office space is also not required. So I do see that also shrinking. In the future, I would love to say that, you'll have pocket-sized companies coming up. Startup philosophy, which is of 5-member, 10-member, 20-member teams, is what a lot of your companies will start looking at by the time it is 2031.
Thank you very much, madam. So probably there's a need of a lot more startups to solve this problem.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful about it. Thank you very much.
Can I
madam,
make one observation? Moderator?
Namashivayam, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, please.
I just want to ask, because one thing is, when we all talk about AI, we are also equally talk about AI bubble, because what is happening today is a very highly capital intensive, energy guzzling solution that are being produced. Okay, there's no doubt what Madam said is right. I've also interacted with coders. The productivity has increased 3x, 4x as far as the senior programmers are concerned. But having said that, the transaction cost of executing is still not sustainable. Today, it is subsidized. And what is the future of cost of doing through AI machines with this capital intensive things versus a third world programmer or a worker? I feel that maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, because as of now, the whole industry is on a huge investment mode. They're not questioning the returns and productivity and how they're going to satisfy the investors.
Yeah.
So how do you think it will eventually evolve and settle this issue?
Sir, there is, yesterday I read about orbital farms. So there is so much of research going on to bring up these orbital farms to solve this problem of cost of computing resources. The, the cooling cost and the energy cost apparently will be brought to zero with these orbital farms. The research is already on, it seems. So, yeah. So this
it's a long way.
Long way, but the way things are going.
Nuclear, either you can go in a Trumpian way saying that use the old coal and burn and this and that, then it's environmental sustainability issue.
Yeah.
If you want to have a nuclear at scale, it's even equally expensive. Anyhow,
okay.
I'm just posing.
Yeah.
While yes, for computer industry, especially for coding jobs, she's perfectly right.
Okay, sir.
That it is likely to happen.
Yeah, but also will someone really subsidize too much if there is no market potential in that is another question which is coming to me. Anyhow, sir, thank you very much for that. Ma'am, please. Thanks a lot for accepting our invitation. Really, really nice talk, ma'am. And moving forward, we have Shri Vimal Govind MK, a pride of Kerala Startup Mission, who is a co-founder and the CEO of Zen Robotics Innovations. He's going to talk about impact of physical AI and how we all need to prepare for that. Thank you very much, Vimal. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, sir, for the introduction. I'm more from the robotics side of things. Today, I think a lot of discussion is already happened on the AI. And in many aspects, industry is very clear, and a lot of money is also pumping into the industry for, actually taking the jobs away. That has already happened. And as Madam told also, she is from the industry and she's been really seeing it also in the industry of reducing people in the software industry. And in India actually have a big amount of income coming from foreign countries and other places, specifically for the software aspect. Even Kerala also have around 2 lakhs plus software coders works in Kerala itself. India, it is comparatively much higher. So an impact on that scale is actually create a drastic impact for the country and for the economy. I hope our systems are actually figuring out, our economical, scientists, people, all that they are actually figuring out how to, get out of this kind of a scenario in a very, good and less impactful manner. I hope for that. But from my perspective, what I see in the industry of robotics, actually in the industry of robotics, the job opportunities are currently increasing in a very good way. So this is one of the industry which is actually picking up in a very good way because of the impact of AI. Because AI is actually giving opportunity for an industry like robotics to do a lot more things than what it can actually do before. And just like the money which is going into AI, there are a lot of money is going into the robotic industry also. Like what happened in AI industry 10 years back is actually happening in the robotics industry currently now. And US and China is actually leading this particular rise. And China is even started creating industries, manufacturing industry for making humanoid robots, which can take away the normal jobs that people are actually doing. And I seen a few days back around 5,000 such robots being deployed in the field. And China is also mandated. One other thing is that in most of the places where in government industry and other areas, they mandated the use of robots. That is also done. China is actually one of the country with a large amount of population. Even with that, they actually mandated the use of robots for the industry by even removing the labor. Why they have did such kind of a thing is because they just want to improve the industry and lead the robotic race also by creating proper application in the space. Similarly, in US also many money is actually pumping into creating general purpose robotic devices using general AI for a lot of applications which laborers are actually doing. And a country like US, the labor cost is also considerably high, where these companies comes in robotics and does the general purpose works is actually can get into a break even very faster. But in India, even right now, robotics is not actually picked up. I believe for the next 5 years, in order to manage even the software, job loss impact also, this is one of the industry government can actually look into. And promoting the robotic industry and picking it up into multiple level of things can actually put these people who may get job loss from the industry like software, they can actually find a resource over here. So this is one aspect of thinking I actually came across. And actually we started robotics industry 7 to 10 years back actually in Kerala. In that time, general purpose robotic devices are not at all a common thing. People are not even believing in that particular aspect. Because of that, and even the culture of what we have in India, the deep tech fund are very less available in an ecosystem point of view. Even because of this limitation, but we seen that this industry going to pick up. That's why we built a startup on gen robotics in robotic arena. And that I was thinking now is a comparatively a better decision. But in order to strategize the research point of view, that time what we have actually took is the niche segments. We haven't bet on the general purpose robotics related things, which is where they require a large amount of funding and it takes a lot of time to even get the money back after a period of time. So this kind of a scenario was there. So we focused on niche segments like sanitation, where in India, a country like India, there are people are doing the sanitation related jobs. And nobody actually in the world must not do this kind of a job. Humans should not do this kind of a job. And even it is illegal to do such kind of a job also, people still has to use. So such kind of a scenario only we picked up. We find the sanitation industry is one of the best industry to use robots, and the treachery that the people are actually facing in this industry is comparatively big. And solving that kind of a solution, that kind of a problem statement with a robotic solution was our initial venture. This is also a kind of a strategy that we actually put. And that's how for the last 8 years we scaled the robotics solutions like Bandicoot robot for cleaning manholes from Kerala to around 19 states and 3 UTs in India. And even we started selling to abroad. That is the reason I just came from Singapore for this particular event. We signed a contract with PUB, one of the national agency of wastewater management in Singapore. They checked around 600 companies in the entire globe to solve the problem in sanitation they are facing in their country, and they picked Gen Robotic out of it. So that is a privilege. And we got the privilege being from Kerala, being from India, we got the privilege to forefront that because we started the journey 7 years before. That's why. So I believe such kind of industry openings are there for us to actually look into, where we can use the current potential of AI which is coming up. People are only looking into the AI, and AI is already a crowded market. Look differently and try to see the robotics as an industry, see different problems that you can solve using robotics, and you can become a kind of a niche expertise in the world. You don't need to be a general expertise. General expertise require a lot of funding. I believe as we move on, government will put more funding for this kind of a deep tech innovation. Even today morning also I seen one of the central ministry's announcement for around 10,000 crores of funds scheme they started for in the deep tech area. Even central ministries also understand this is going to be a big thing, and this bet is really needed in order to survive the change which is happening. What we actually thought even 2-3 years back is not the scenario right now. So that kind of agility we also need on the planning of our economy and policies. That's what I wish for this time. And again, with that note, consider the point of physical AI and the niche segments that this AI and robotics can actually solve. This can bring up a new, segment, a niche segments, which cater much more better for the world from Kerala. That is a scenario I was putting forward to entire crowd and the policymakers here. With that note, thank you so much.
Thank you, Vimal. Please. Any questions to Vimal? Yes, please. Yeah. Two hands. Alex will come next first. Alex already asked a question. Be a bit quicker, please. Go fast. Go all over there.
Hello. My name is Manupriya. I am a third year BTech IT student, and I also parallelly run a startup where we provide technical and life skills based coaching to students. So I had 2 questions. One is a suggestion actually regarding AI training. What we felt as students was it was easier to understand from students and our seniors rather than learning from trainers. Just a few months ago, a SAP had launched a scheme where they started taking skill champions and involving students, where students teach other students. They'll be trained first, and then their juniors or companions would be trained. So my suggestion was, when in the training loop, it would be better to involve students as trainers also, as they are quite capable of keeping it informal. When it comes to professionals, students often consider it very formal as the medium of communication. So this was a suggestion. And regarding the robotics part, I had a major question, which was I think that for a common person, it is tough to grasp general purpose robots or humanoids, because they think they might go out of control and attack the whoever is commanding at some point. And that is maybe a myth, or maybe a kind of precaution, I would say, a caution. And that might be one of the major reasons why students or anybody as such isn't coming forward with an innovation in the robotics industry. So how can such a mindset be tackled, or how can we be more optimistic and be more in control while progressing in the robotics industry?
So this is actually a user experience problem of designing robotic related solutions for general purpose use case. And as I mentioned, our focus is more on the niche segments where the general purpose human to human kind of communications are not less, because we believe this industry is coming after 7 years, 8 years down the line. But yes, the problem is well valid, which you are already shown, that there should be a fear of the new technology which is coming into the industry. By properly doing the marketing campaigns, by properly doing a proper adoptions, and if people started seeing that it is not going to create any kind of harms to the people, then the psychology of the adoption will change. So there is a lot. This is I would say this is not a small thing to answer. It is a small go. It is more like a structured way of introducing this kind of a technology into a community, and by proper marketing, proper user experience design, proper technology designs and everything in a cumulative way, this has to address the problem statements like this. This is one of the problem statements. Similarly, there are multiple other problem statements also. People normally think, you may be seeing the Malayalam movie called Android Kunjappan also. That is actually talks about the danger, and also talks about the emotions that people actually create with the robotic related systems. So again, there is a large amount of data related to how people behave and in front of a systems like that, and systematically we have to program the adoption to the community. But this will happen. That particular aspect is comparatively the least kind of a problem statement the industry is actually concerned about at the moment, because the adoption will be initially start into the industries where human life is again in danger, such as defense and homeland securities, and even for the small menial jobs where this kind of a risk will not be involved. And again, as per a recent study, there was a lot of robots who started to adapt even in our society also. For you may be seeing that cleaning robot, vacuum cleaning Roomba type robots has been already well utilized in the industry. People are able to buy those kind of robots in a very comparative price, also through online platforms. So there was also people had a lot of that kind of a scenarios about the privacy of the data. There are cameras, sensors, and other things which takes the privacy related issues. So that's something we have to see actually as the industry moves on.
Yeah. Your first suggestion on peer learning is noted. To some extent, I believe this model is deployed in NewLearn platform to some extent, but we'll take it forward. We will definitely experiment it in ICT Academy's program. Thank you very much. Second question is from Dr. Alexius.
This job issue that has been discussed, actually, this is not a new issue. This is a automation issue which has been happening for long. Like I can say, like in semiconductor industry, automation was there from early 90s onwards. Jobs haven't gone. Jobs only has increased. The nature, the quality or the complexity of the work that is involved, that has increased over a period of time. And when that increases, then you have like more jobs created around it. So maybe the problem that you're looking at, like maybe it's not app development. That is why where the AI or like the programming has to be used. The future jobs may be in a different set of other professions and other things. Like, you'll be building robots, or you'll be building like in a new kind of like, there are hundreds of machineries, tools, and other things which are yet to be automated. There are so many jobs in that sense that will come out. And the second part of it is like, we question a lot on, relevance of, relevance of universities and relevance of faculty and things like this. Today, like, the first generation, there's a Gen X generation, is the first generation which has lower IQ than their parents, just because people are using AI. So fundamentally, like, you are looking at a problem of education which needs to be, going back to the basics. Most of the schools have moved back to the boards, right? They stopped like using the digital AI and other things. So those aspects, like, will bring us back to the basics to look at things differently. And that's only going to like, help creativity and other things to go, and problem solving, everything, which will obviously would have to create new jobs. There is no other way. That's what my feeling is.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lex. Anyhow, thanks for that response. And now the last speaker is the most eloquent speaker, Mr. Anu Pambika, who is also a serial entrepreneur turned CEO of Startup Mission. He is going to speak on impact of AI on
Kerala ecosystem. Over to you, Anup.
I'll be very brief. Literally, I don't know why they serve lunch on the side and make you wait for the food. It's a cruel thing to do. You know, you can smell the chicken fry when you're walking that side. And so I really wanted to touch upon an incident that happened to me, right? One of these days, actually two incidents. There is a saloon owner who came to me and said that I want to build an AI platform. And his offering is that, you know, imagine you're getting married and you want the perfect hairstyle for that day. And I want to create an engine where, you know, the bride or the groom can prompt and create the perfect hairstyle for you. And then he will do the hair cutting for you, right? The second one is somebody from Builders Association of India came to me and said that I'm building this application wherein if you want to build a house, you just say, right? I want a 2-bedroom house. You know, this is the kind of things that I would like to use in there. I want Tarayoda or granite or whatever. And then within 30 seconds, you will see how that house is going to look like. And he will give you an estimate, which is accurate to around 90% within the next minute or so. That was the offering there. So the point that I was trying to make it is not about only IT or software engineering. It's about enabling the common man with AI so that he or she will be able to deliver their services properly, right? Now, coming to the question of IT, there was this, Babel made a bold statement that 80% of the software engineers will lose their jobs. 80% of 50 lakhs, which is around 40 lakh people is what we are talking about when it comes to the entire country. And if you take an average of 50,000 rupees per month as the salary, then the economic impact that India is going to have is pretty huge. You know, it's not only IT, it will come to insurance, banking, all kinds of sectors. But then Namashivayam sir actually came up with an extremely good point. And I think that is a point that we should ponder over, is that the last raised fund of OpenAI was around $10 billion. Yeah. And now they are trying to raise $1 trillion. 10 billion is, 1 billion is 8,000 crores. 10 billion is 80,000 crores is what has gone as venture capital funding into OpenAI. 1 trillion, I don't even know what that means. It's a huge amount of money. So they're building this using this money that is heavily coming from the venture capital, right? And at some point of time, they will have to manage all this on their own, which is the GPUs, the data centers, the scraping that you're doing, all this AI engineers, etc., etc., etc. And I will call that the Geo moment, wherein, you know, Geo just came in, offered you very, you know, small prices for some time, and everybody switched to Geo, and suddenly there was no BSNL. So similarly, it might actually happen wherein otherwise it's not sustainable. Right? It is going to be very expensive for the upkeep of this AI. So I don't know how we are going to it is going to pan out, but definitely AI is going to be a companion and is going to kill a lot of jobs. If not 80%, I think some percentage of jobs is going to happen. So what is going to happen for our IT parks? You know, do we need more buildings and you know, cubicles and people coming and sitting there? My take is no. It will turn into compute centers, and you know, there will be small rooms, meeting rooms, wherein 10 people can sit together and refine their prompt and create their product. So rather than having 100,000 people working for Infosys, I think Infosys will have to be split into smaller, nimble teams of 10, 20 people each, which is the max that will be required to build a software product moving forward. But this also opens up quite a lot of jobs. You know, I was looking at Y Combinator, which is one of the largest incubators of the world. And Y Combinator has put out a RFS, as they call it, request for service. So they're saying that we need to build a lot of data centers and, GPUs and installation. And data centers for AI is not that simple. It requires a different kind of cooling. It requires a different kind of energy management mechanism. And all this will turn into new jobs. And they were saying that, okay, we need people, fitters, electricians, who will be able to come and set up these things. So I think the ITI folks will have a much better chance. The actual makers will have a much better chance to get a job in the days to come because they have to go and set up all these things. And you can see that, the power is cooling, power generation, networking and storage, and deployment. And deployment as in core GPUs versus the edge GPUs is going to, edge AI is going to be a different ballgame altogether. So these are all places where new jobs are going to get created. And how do we skill? There is not going to be much job titles left. I think it has to be skill graphs. Okay, I know how to build a data center. I know how to connect and create a circuit, or I know how to critically think and create a new product. That sort of skill graphs will matter, and it'll prioritize on the durable human skills. Well, so what is it that AI cannot replace? How many of you use AI? What do you use? How many of you use AI other than LLM? What do you use, Alex? Code optimization or circuit optimization? Okay. So basically, when we think AI, we are always thinking about LLM and asking a small question. I'll ask you one more question. How many, so I just go ahead and say, when one of the trends that is happening in the GPT world is, that creation of, you upload a picture and then you ask GPT to create an image with everything that you know about me, right? And people have been trending all over the place with that new image. How many of you have actually gone and looked at the prompt that was generated by GPT? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So you should actually look at that prompt that the GPT generates. And that applies to everything, an image, a logo, a video. And when you look at the prompt is when you understand how prompt engineering is so complex. Some of these great videos that you see on the internet, the prompts are very complex, and you need to sit and refine those prompts to get the kind of quality that you need. And I'm assuming that that will happen on product development also to some extent after some time. So jobs are going to be plenty. We'll have to embed learning into the flow of work, which Sajid sir talked about. And transdisciplinary education. That is one thing that I think we need to focus on, and Kerala also need to focus on that. If I was learning computer engineering, I was always computer engineering. If I become a Java programmer, till end of life, I will be a Java programmer. That is disrupted. Everybody knows that. So I need to know mathematics. I might sometimes need to know music. I might need to know art. So interdisciplinary skilling and transdisciplinary education is going to be extremely important for the days to come. And tinkering at schools. And schools, at least I used to have an arts and crafts period in which we used to do something, but I don't know how much of a tinkering is happening in the school. Sunil is here. So the open source movement is led by IC4s. And I personally believe that we need to have sovereign AI, some sort of and you could take the lead on that. Have some LLMs, open source LLMs, into which you can actually keep on adding contributions. That will also help you create talent. Much like we discussed, the statisticians and the mathematicians coming in and contributing onto that LLM layer will be very nice. Open data commons, I think we already talked about. Sir has already got some plans. Civic AI and public good cooperatives. White hat AI auditing. That is another area that central government has come up with very strict regulations about the usage of AI. Decentralized peer-to-peer computer networks, which is another area that is very close to my heart. Do you really need these expensive GPUs? Can we actually connect all our computers and create more compute and use it for training the LLMs, much like Napster used to do for music and blockchain used to do for, forgot the name of that term. Space is another area that we are looking at. I think Levin sir is here. Upstream, downstream, manufacturing. That is one area that we'll be concentrating on with K-Space. This is one sector which is going to thrive. The creator economy as well as the creative economy, because if people lose jobs, they will have to get entertained. So more need of entertainment will come into the thing. You can create animation, gaming, more games can come. There'll be more videos, XR, VR immersions, etc., etc. So I think that's an area where we'll have extremely good opportunities at. Creative economy or orange economy, as they call it, is going to be one of the things that is going to drive when all these white collar jobs or blue collar jobs go away. The real makers will have value. And that is one area I think the state can focus on with the veracity of the cultural collateral that we have. And we are already on the way to do that. Now, how do we market Kerala? Why should somebody come to Kerala to do business? And I keep thinking about this, and I think one of the reasons is because if any state in Kerala, in India, where the general public can get trained on AI and start using AI, I think it's going to be Kerala. Because of the digital literacy, the literacy that we have, our handiness about the tools, as in the smartphones and the iPads and everything, many people know how to use it. So I think we have an offer to the world that here is 3.75 crores or 3.5 crores people who are very handy with their gadgets and AI and has got different skill sets, and we might be able to offer solutions to the world. I think that's pretty much it, sir. Thank you, and I'll take any questions if you have.
Thank you, Anup. So now let's have one final set of questions, if any remaining. Yeah, please. Two hands. Yeah.
Sir, I just want to ask one thing. Now we have a lot of CCTV cameras. I'm just telling a scenario. Everyone has a CCTV camera. Now most of these CCTV cameras are equipped with an AI systems, right? So do we have any regulations? For example, if someone take that CCTV visuals and search for people, because that is already embedded in that system, they can give a prompt to LLM and get details about this person. So the thing is, like, we are going to lose our privacy when these things come. We talked about all the good things, but we should be careful about these things also. So how are we going to tackle about these things? Is there any regulation? I didn't see anything from government part until now. So is there any plan for imposing such regulations on these things? Thank you.
So you mean to say this data should not be available to anyone other than enforcement agencies?
No, I mean, is there any way to control these things? Like, anyone can get this data nowadays. It's easy. It's practical. I just give a practical example.
Yeah. So we will address this in our AI policy, but I believe law of the land, the provisions which are there in IPC will already cover this, according to me, my firm belief about this. Recently, central government has come up with some SOP as well on misuse of this kind of data, violating rights of others. SOP is put in place so that enforcement agencies act upon it. So it is put in place. And I again believe the existing provisions of IPC will definitely take care of this, but this is a work in action. We are working on the policy. We will definitely address this question, address this particular point. Yeah, next, Pranav. I hope you are Pranav. Yeah. So he's an intern who worked with me for some time. Yeah, please.
So this is not a question. It's more like a thought. I just want to share my thought. So like Mabel Chakku ma'am and Saji sir and also Anup sir has talked about this. Like the existing jobs are going to be shifted to another direction. The existing jobs will be maybe cease to exist and new job opportunities will may emerge. So what I want to share my thought is that what happens to the existing workforce? Like maybe ma'am already told that we need to have an effective way to retrain the existing workforce rather than laying off. So how can we implement that with the current way? So this is just a thought. I had this. I was wondering about this when Mabel ma'am was talking about to rethink this. and how can we implement this on this what is a real-time evolving AI technology and all. So how can we implement this on schools, colleges, and even on the workplaces? How can we, implement this? Since the jobs are going to be shifted to another way, so how can we implement this on all these levels? So that's thought I wanted to share.
So actually, I thought about your first point a bit, but I am on video. Okay, I'm on record. I really don't know whether I can. It's not live, but I really don't know whether I can say it or not. I thought about a bit, and also there are a lot of viewpoints which have come up in this particular conference only. Also, right now, Dr. Alex very clearly told. New jobs are going to be created. There's a dominant opinion on this. I think more or less everyone is saying that new jobs will come up. In fact, it's my opinion also. And I somehow believe that there is a lot of distillation still remaining. Okay, now we have seen, we can visualize a lot of things are still remaining. I believe those opportunities will have to be tapped by existing startups, existing companies. I really don't know whether corporate giants are looking into finding newer opportunities to ensure layoffs are lesser, jobs remain. I really don't know. I hope they are doing it. They will do it. But startups should definitely look into it. I don't know, I'm on video, but I'm still saying, recently I got a thought whether there should be some kind of a policy that needs to be taken up by governments across, because ultimately technology should be for social good. Technology should ensure that there is social good, and it's a responsibility of the government to ensure employment remains. Recently, some thought came to me, this is a pan-world issue, okay, whether governments should come up with a regulation wherein they put up some kind of a rule that companies should ensure that there are no layoffs, and efforts should be put in place to ensure jobs are created. This thought came to me, right? Definitely, I think solution will come up. Definitely, all governments are oriented, solutions definitely will come up. I'm hopeful about this. On your second point, definitely we need to adopt our curriculum. Dr. Saji and all spoke about it. We are going to seriously work on this. Any other questions remaining? Okay. Please address questions to other speakers.
So hi, my name is Alauddin. We talked about a lot about AI, right? We've been using AI tools from OpenAI, Anthropic and all. We also have a model from India, which is Server, but no one is talking about it. It's general purpose one, but we are not consuming that as a model for our own general purpose things. So as a government, should we also try to be the consumer for that product until we can make more and more use cases from that? Because mostly I'm a student, most of our student doesn't know about that model. So yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like when I try to use that model, it's too good with OpenAI and all. And their recent model is also damn good. Sarvam AI, which is the sovereign model of, yeah. So I was thinking about that. They have a lot of pretty good models. Which they have also vision applications being launched recently. So I was thinking about it, like how we can as a student.
So how many people know about Sarvam.ai? I think 5, 6 in this group, right? And that is why, if I may answer, because which payment app do you use?
Right now I use BIM.
Huh?
BIM.
BIM.
Yeah.
How many people use BIM? 1, 2. How many use Google Pay? That is the difference, basically. So you have BIM, you have UPI, which is powered by the government of India, but you use Google Pay, right? I use Google Pay, you don't. We have OpenAI, we have Sarvam, which is probably good. I haven't used it, but I hear it's getting better, and tomorrow there is an announcement about how it is better than, so they have done a scientific study, and tomorrow or day after at the India AI Summit, they are making an announcement that Sarvam is better, statistically better than OpenAI and some of these other LLM models that are out there in vernacular languages, which means that if we need to deliver a solution in Malayalam or Tamil or Hindi, then Sarvam will be better. So I'm hoping that a little bit more marketing will be done about these good tools that are coming out of India, one. Second, create an extremely good user interface or a user experience around it. The user experience of Gemini is amazing. And Gemini is already connected to Google Docs and Gmail and everything that you use on Google. So Google comes with this enormous advantage of inserting AI into your already existing workplace. And Sarvam will have a disadvantage. So I think governments will have to take a extra effort in order to introduce Sarvam, and possibly in e-governance applications where you have to deliver services or knowledge to the farmers and the SME entrepreneurs and the common man. I think that is how it will become popular. Right now, nobody knows about it.
Right.
Ubuntu, yes. Yes.
Ubuntu movement for AI. Yeah.
I think I'm extending what I already spoke to. So just now, Anupambika sir told about this integration of Gemini with most of the Google's tools. So this is a space where open source should come up with. Especially we have now tools like active pieces. I hope you have encountered with it. So what active pieces does is like they do try to integrate various pieces of things like you might have a CRM layer, you might have a ZMS layer, you might have a JIT layer. So actually we must speak to various types of models there, and to make this happen, earlier it was done using specific APIs developed by those specific tools. Instead of that, this active pieces is providing APIs for anything. So just use active pieces so that you could integrate anything seamlessly. So that sort of a push on the open source side of it, on the free software side of it, might be good, and maybe not just the Kerala government, but the governments elsewhere to have to think in unison for this sort of a purpose, like for integrating various services, various models, and that's it.
Noted, noted. Your suggestion is noted. So one last, due to paucity of time, last response or question.
Yeah, I am Faiz. I am a fellow technocrat operator. I'm also an investor. I think this is a Robin Hood moment, by the way, right? The world that we live in. The AI now is becoming a commodity, and I think it is actually so abstracted that each and every one of us has quick access to that technology, which we claim to be now in trillions. Are we even understanding that $20 is worth $1 trillion of, effort that is being put on the technology? I think my direction or my observation would be the large giants are really going to suffocate, and the power will now be in the hands of the common man. What that means is Kerala Startup Mission needs to come up with those processes like quick start of company, quick issuance of GST certificates, and quick closure of companies. Because if that power goes to these people, they would look at processes to quickly start and start activating, which I think we have already starting seeing. 1% companies making impact overnight. So my direction would be maybe we should probably start on those process activities and make it faster so that we have, at least hundreds of these entrepreneurs. They shouldn't fear about job losses. They should fear the abstraction of technology is so high today. It's very easy to start, which they can dream of.
Okay. So thank you. Some good responses coming from audience. I think it's time to sum up. It's been a wonderful conference. Let me tell you, I think I have not seen even one single person, sitting bored. It's really extremely engaging conference, and I should thank Anupambika. He has given a good suggestion at the start itself. He asked me to propose for a question from audience. So it's been wonderful discussion. We derived a lot of insights as part of this particular discussion. I should thank everyone for that. My job is to summarize, but there is absolutely no need, because at the end of every session, at the end of after every speaker completed, I summarize then itself. So there is no need to summarize. But I want to say something. It's an extremely enriching conference that happened at this point of time. I'm sure we derived a lot of insights. Our vision program and mission program is going to be further improved based on these inputs. There are a lot of apprehensions raised about AI, but many apprehensions got allayed as well. So there was a lot of optimism around the possibilities of a lot of solutions. I'm sure the future is going to be good. I'm 100% confident about that. But definitely we need to work. All of us need to work. Country needs to work. States need to work. I'm sure all those who participated here, I think I am here, and planning board member is there. I'm sure officials from finance department are here. I'm sure officials from many departments are there. Our vice chancellor is there. So I think I'm quite confident that all the stakeholders are extremely sensitized about the necessity of being extremely proactive in refining our programs, because we are wading through extremely turbulent times, and we need to definitely adapt to the changing times. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful conference. I would like to thank everyone. But formally, I request Shri Arun J. Pratap to propose, Chief of Industry and Infrastructure Division, Kerala State Planning Board, to propose vote of thanks.
Hello, everyone. As we are nearing the closure of our forenoon session, we wholeheartedly thank our Honorable Planning Board member, Namasivayam sir, Honorable Special Secretary Sambashiva sir, and all the distinguished speakers, Professor Vijay Chandru, Dr. Saji Gopinath, Dr. Deepak Padmanabhan, Dr. Roshan K. Srivastav, Professor Eniko Aguirre, Ms. Mabel Chako, Sri Vimal Govind MK, and Sri Anup Ambiga, and our respected guests, delegates, officials of different government departments, Kerala State Planning Board, CDIT, the Kerala Public Relations Department, and management of this hotel for making this session a success. Thank you all. Lunch is arranged for everyone. Please proceed. So I request Sambashiva sir to give a token of appreciation to our respected speakers.
We will log out. Thank you.